27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Rambo's coming alive, a blazing storm that never died. He rose from the darkness, escaped from the pain, unchained from the madness, no ties to remain. From a cell to the spotlight, defiant and free, a voice for the voiceless, resounding their play. Fire in his veins, his calling clear, his band of brothers tip up the spear. Rambo and friends, we rise, we stand, breaking the chains with truth in our hands. For the children, for the weak, we scream the words they're scared to speak. Addiction tried to chain him, but he broke them all. Now he's fighting for freedom and justice for all. With honor and glory, the truth will prevail. A soldier for the light, tearing through the veil. Fire in his veins, his calling clear, his band of brothers tip up the spear. Rambo and friends, we rise, we stand, breaking the chains with truth in our hands. For the children, for the weak, we scream the words they're scared to speak. Rambo Joe, Rambo Joe, faith and fury collide. Rambo Joe, Rambo Joe, no evil can hide. Rambo, for the children, for the truth, we're not backing down. Rambo and friends, we rise, we stand, breaking the chains with truth in our hands. For the children, for the weak, we scream the words they're scared to speak. We ride
And there isn't one of us that doesn't want to be someplace else. This is what we do. Who we are.
Survive a war. gotta become one.
Boom. Welcome to Rambo and Friends. Surprise, I'm here. Welcome to the show, everybody. I see y'all piling in. I'm so grateful. You guys have already killed it on the thumbs over on Rumble. If you're watching over on Pilled, hit the red pill. If you're watching on X, please hit the heart, drop a comment, share the show. Join us on these other platforms. DECLAS is a simul stream. It goes out on my channel. It also goes out on Dave, aka News Trees and Channel 17's channel. And I'm super grateful to be here today. Kind of stinks for the reasons, because I know I told y'all I was going into surgery. So let's just get this out of the way real quick. Unfortunately, even though it has improved tremendously through using the Feel Great system, I've gone from in the red in my blood pressure to in the orange. It's kind of balancing in the orange and green. If anybody's ever taken their blood pressure, they would know what I mean. And so my surgery has been pushed off till October. So I am here with you guys today, and I will be here with you. And I'm grateful to have you. And I'm so grateful for all the prayers, because I can't tell you. I mean, hundreds of people have asked me today, yesterday, how I'm feeling. The truth is, I drove all the way down there, and it turns out I can't do it until October, because we need a little bit more progress. So with that, Patrick Gunnels is probably going to host tomorrow, because I'm going to take the day and go to the beach and get some well-needed exercise in. I don't know if you guys realize, but when you do something like this, you end up in a computer chair a lot. And I think it might be part of the issue. So between the Feel Great system, getting a little bit more exercise in, eating healthy, I hope to get that surgery done. And unfortunately, it's not going to be until October. So there's your update. And with that, I want to bring on our guys today, because holy crap, is there a lot to talk about? It's a lot. And so let's get right into this thing, and we'll hear from the boss and bring on our friends.
I wouldn't miss a chance to talk to my friends. These are my friends.
Dave, it's good to see you, bro. Hey, I want to thank you, because you were going to have my back, not only with that, but with the show. So, bro, I want you to know it meant the world to me, and I love you, dude.
Hi, man. I am here to help in every aspect of your upcoming transition surgery. So I'm here for you, brother.
I'm over here trying to be genuine. You got to make fun of me. Well, happy Tuesday. Welcome to our DECLAS. Welcome to everybody over on your channel, bro.
Yeah, man. Thanks everybody for being here. We had a couple of great shows over the weekend. We had a 6-hour marathon on Sunday covering the Charlie Kirk Memorial Super Bowl event, and here we are again. Lots to talk about.
Bro, look, I am a fan of Charlie Kirk. I am a fan of Donald Trump. I am probably one of the biggest, right? I would probably be top 100 of people that love Donald Trump. I've dedicated my life to it since my dad passed away and told us all to vote for Donald Trump. But that was a rally, bro.
Yeah, it was a lot of things. It was anything but what we were told. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring on the one and the only, the man himself, Patrick Gunnels. What is up, my dude?
I come to you now at the turn of the tide. That's how I feel about it, and excited to get started. As far as the rally goes, do you remember back in the day when Senator Paul Wellstone died in a plane crash, and they had a rally for his funeral, and it kind of backfired? I don't think that's happening this time. I think that the reins of power have been sufficiently seized by the people putting on the cringy funeral rally, but it's still cringy.
It's cringy AF, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's so funny because when I only watched 60 seconds of Erica Kirk, and I immediately texted Dave and I said, I don't want to say this out loud, but Erica Kirk creeps me the F out. And by the way, it's really hard for a girl that hot to creep me out. She's got Elizabeth Holmes voice.
I had three normies the other day. They're like, "Can you just please explain to me why at a memorial the wife was coming out with fireworks going off on the stage?" And I'm like, "Well, you might have just answered your own question."
If you, Patrick, if you watch back Dave and I trying to watch that, Kim actually jumped on at that point in time. And I like couldn't even look at Dave's face because I couldn't control my own face.
Do you
By the way,
remember an
let's
event? Yeah.
go ahead. Keep
There
going,
was an
Patrick.
event called The Pit, and it was after the stolen election. It was hosted by Greg Phillips and True the Vote. And it was all about this massive reveal he was going to do about election fraud, how he was going to blow it wide open. When I got there, it was a never-ending parade of vendors giving sales pitches at a podium for their products, many of which were software products designed for the surveillance state. And everybody in my small group were all staring straight at me because they were all keeping straight faces and keeping a good face on it. I was just like, you motherfucker, what have you? And I ended up just I stormed out of the event. That's what I would have done at the Charlie Kirk rally. And I was worried that it was going to get me in trouble.
You know what? Before we go any further, can we just say this? Because this show isn't for the masses, but there is something happening with the masses, the seagrass, with Charlie Kirk. So Dave, before I hand it over to you, I wanted to show this because I'm hugely into comedians. I have been my whole life. I'm a laugh, so I don't cry type of dude, right? So Opie and Anthony was one of my favorite radio shows. It's why I am so attracted to Mickey Coachella. I love comedy. I love it because it takes reality, and if put the right way, will bring over an emotion to you that's not like, traumatizing or down or all, tears. It's not any of that stuff. And so I look up to all these guys. So I wanted to play something quick before we hand it over to Dave.
Dedicate this show tonight to Charlie Kirk. God bless you, Charlie. You can kill a man, but you can't kill a message. This country is stronger than any man, stronger than any violence. It's the freest country in the history of the world. And it's worth fighting for. It's worth defending with all your heart. Because we've been able to live our lives in the freest country in the history of the world, but what we need to fight for is our children and our grandchildren. And that's what Charlie was thinking. I've never seen anybody get so much more out of life in 31 years. Charlie Kirk.
Whether you believe what you saw with your own eyes or not, that ultimate message is resonating not only within this country, but around the world. And for that, I'm grateful.
Me too. And genuinely, there is a part of me very, very excited about the direction I see things moving in. We have great reason to be optimistic.
Could not agree more. Dave?
Well, I just want to break some news, in case anybody was concerned about the assassin that didn't actually try to shoot Donald Trump. So fake justice was served today for a fake assassination attempt. And we're all safer because of it, apparently.
What the hell is that? For those of you just listening, it's, you know how they draw the people in the courtroom? Well, they drew the Routh guy looking like a goblin from the mines of Moria.
Yeah.
Whew,
So anyway,
okay.
look, what happened on Sunday and that video you just showed, all joking aside, like that's the point. It's the same point we made after Butler. I'm looking at the chat, and I've looked at the chat on all these shows, and I'm pretty certain most people have reached their own logical conclusions on what did or didn't happen on the 10th. But the bottom line is that's why it's not worth, just like everything else, it's not worth trying to fight with somebody over this. It's not worth trying to prove it to your friends and family if you think Charlie Kirk isn't dead or that wasn't even Charlie. It isn't worth it because it's not going to go anywhere. But what's going on around the country is exactly why, if you were in control and had the capabilities to do so, it's exactly why you would do it and stage it. And it's also exactly why the bad guys would never assassinate somebody like that in that manner, because of exactly what happened after the fact. Like, they're not that stupid. And I'll just leave it at that. They're not that stupid. You don't create a martyr in an information war if you don't need to.
What do you think about all of those people hopping on TikTok and celebrating his death? Do you think that's part of the op as well?
1000%. Look, Patrick, go back to the presentation we did in the signature reduction program, the 60,000 man army, right? What is one of the key components? And again, it doesn't even have to apply to Charlie. What is one of the key components of that? It's social media amplification, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have it prepared for today, but if you want to melt your mind, we'll probably do this on Saturday.
Okay.
If you want to melt your mind a little bit more, if you're into the secret army, then our good friend Jeff, guy on the couch, has done an AI dig showing I believe it's over 100 social media influencers at this point, all with hundreds of thousands or millions of followers under the age of 30 who have mysteriously died over the last 4 years.
Oh my God.
What is that proving? It's proving that they weren't real influencers. They were characters, and they were being taken off the board. And he shows you through AI, he shows you the statistical impossibility of this many people with this large of accounts all dying under the age of 30 in a 3-year period. It's fascinating. So, this is why. Sorry, Joe. One more thing, real quick. Your question is exactly why I try to tell people, and I can't tell you. I try to encourage people not to get emotional with the dancing on the grave type of videos and the crazy people on TikTok. Now, yeah, sure. Are there, like, what are we getting today, right? You're getting that now. We're being told pregnant liberals are going on TikTok and binge eating Tylenol because of what Trump said. Like, okay, is somebody in the world probably doing that today? Really? Yeah. But you have to amplify that dark message so that people, this is just like football. It's a team sport. When somebody else talks smack, you get pissed off and you want to go. So without those dark videos, it's not going to motivate people. So yes, I do believe a good majority, look, especially when you see them going super viral, and then here's Flynn talking about it and Bannon's talking about it. It's on Fox, and it's the same chorus of people. Like, that just screams amplified messaging. So yeah, I believe a lot of the negative stuff at this point is amplified messaging.
Man, it makes me think of that movie, The Shawshank Redemption, that special scene when they're in the library and Morgan Freeman says to Tim Robbins, you can't just make a person up. And then Tim Robbins explains to him, oh, yes, you can, especially if you know the cracks in the system. Yep. And they can make up as many people as they want and have them say everything that they want them to say.
Yep.
Not only that, so Dave makes a great point, and this is an amazing conversation. And I, unfortunately, with all the things that we had to pull today, which was a lot, I wasn't able to get to it. But there's some sort of major crackdown on encrypted messaging, aka bots. It's been all over the news this morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and they put out that PSYOP in New York City on the Secret Service just stumbled across some cell phone farm a block away. They were doing their sweep for Trump, and they stumbled across the world's largest cell phone data collection where they could have sent out 30 million email text messages a second and crashed all of New York City. And they just stumbled across this while they were doing a security sweep for Trump, because that is exactly how that happens.
Okay.
And the video from it, Patrick, literally looked like flip phone camera work.
I have it if you want to take a quick look at it, Joe.
Yeah,
I mean,
do you have it? I'm over here searching my ass off.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I do. Hang on one sec. It's
Patrick, this literally happens today. As we're told, things like YouTube are about to be free again. TikTok is now owned by the United States. It goes on with this may be the turning point for free speech. When they're exposing things like what Dave's about to show and giving us access to things to be able to talk again all at the same time, it just doesn't seem to make sense to me. Go ahead, Dave, if you have it.
New York City. I mean, get your mind around what we just faced. The Secret Service discovered, uncovered, and took down a massive hidden telecom network just a few miles away from the United Nations headquarters. Agents found hundreds of SIM servers and 100,000 SIM cards clustered together. Investigators say that system was powerful enough to black out cell service throughout the entire city and also had surveillance capabilities. Initial analysis of those SIM cards.
Okay, wait. First off, I just want to back up a second. Look at that lower third. Secret Service find telecom threat within 35 miles. Why are they searching 35 miles away? Why is the Secret Service doing a sweep 35 miles away from the UN? That's like Long Island. That's like a whole nother county.
I got nothing. Tell me.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I would guess. I would guess that's the mainstream media talking point. They're sweeping everything. What they found was something as far as
I don't think they found a damn thing is where I'm going with it.
Okay. I can hear that out.
I just don't think I don't look, let's let it play out. Look at the pictures, look at they don't give details on where it was. Like they leave out so many things. This just screams like, hey, let's put this out there. Scare. There's a reason for it. I don't necessarily know what it is yet. But there's not a whole lot to go on here. But let's just take a look at it.
This thought, before you play it any further, Dave, this thought would equate to what you're talking about. 35 miles from the UN, while Donald Trump's at the UN, literally ripping them a new butthole. So yes, the timing is perfect.
And let me also explain before I let it play out. Sorry, I shouldn't dismiss it that quickly. Let me also explain why I don't believe this is real. Okay, if by chance the Secret Service, they usually come in. It's usually a day or two, but let's say I believe sometimes they'll do advanced things upwards of a week. Okay, so if the Secret Service were to stumble across a building where they were operating something like this, it would then fall out of their jurisdiction. It would be handed off to Homeland Security or the FBI. And then the FBI, with their technical people, would have to reverse engineer this and figure out what it is before it goes out to Fox News. But this is just like, nope, we just stumbled across this. We figured out exactly how it worked. We reverse engineered the whole thing. Go have lunch. Have a nice day. Nothing to see here. That's why I don't buy it. There's no investigation. It's just they're just telling us what they found without even having looked into it. Do you really think the Secret Service guy that's doing the frontline thing is able to reverse engineer an operation like this and report it to Fox News in a day? Doesn't make any sense. That's why I don't buy it. It's once again, they're just telling us. But look at some of the pictures. Take a look.
Initial analysis of those SIM cards reportedly identifying ties to at least one foreign nation, as well as links to criminals already known to United States law enforcement. So people working as the enemy, if you will, from inside our own country. CB Cotton with more. CB.
Hey, Harris. Yeah, federal agents say this telecom threat could have been a catastrophe for this city of 8 million people, which, as you mentioned, now has world leaders from every part of the globe gathered here for the United Nations General Assembly. The threat was uncovered as part of the Secret Service's day-to-day work protecting U.S. government officials. Agents raided multiple locations within 35 minutes of the UN, uncovering a network of 300.
Guys, come on with that pic. Really?
So,
Bro,
Has the Secret Service seriously not updated their cameras from flip phones yet?
but what about the staging? What about everything
Hey.
about this?
can you also go back 15 seconds?
Sure.
So we were already told 35 miles, correct?
Correct.
And now we're being told about protecting. Go ahead, play that again.
As part of the Secret Service's day-to-day work protecting U.S. government officials, agents raided multiple locations within 35 minutes of the UN, uncovering a network of 300 servers and more than 100.
Did they say 35 minutes?
Now they did.
They're just focusing on the number 35.
This one says
just check out the
35,
drop-
and this
drop
one says
35.
35 miles right there.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's about protecting government officials.
So check out drop 35.
Drop 35 just became very, very pertinent. Go ahead,
Yep.
keep
And
going.
I've got it pulled up already.
And SIM cards, tools capable of blasting out millions of anonymous text, jamming 911 lines, and blacking out cell towers. The special agent in charge of New York City's field office spoke about the danger this telecom threat posed.
You can't use text message. You can't use your cell phone. And
Does that guy not look like Clark Kent?
A little bit.
Okay,
Let's
keep
see.
keeping that in mind for what we're going to get into next with Charlie Kirk. Just keep that in mind. That could just be a coincidence, but it's funny.
if you coupled that with some sort of other event, right, associated with UNGA, or, use your imagination there, they could be catastrophic to the city.
Investigators stress there's no evidence of a direct plot to disrupt the UN General Assembly, but the Secret Service right now believes foreign actors and criminals already known to law enforcement were using this system to send encrypted messages to cartels, organized crime groups, terrorist organizations.
We want to.
All right. Anyway, that's enough.
Bro, the further that goes on, the more and more 35, the drop becomes more significant. Patrick?
I would be delighted. Q drop number 35 of November 1st, 2017. POTUS will be well insulated / protected on Air Force One and abroad, specific locations classified, while these operations are conducted due to the nature of the entrenchment. It is time to take back our country and make America great again. Let us salute and pray for the brave men and women in uniform who will undertake this assignment to bring forth peace, unity, and return power to the people. It is our hope that this message reaches enough people to make a meaningful impact. We cannot yet telegraph this message through normal methods, for reasons I'm sure everyone here can understand. Follow the questions from the previous threads and remain calm. The primary targets are within DC and remain at the top on both sides. The spillover in the streets will be quickly shut down. Look for more false flags. Stay alert, be vigilant, and above all, please pray. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Love is patient, love is kind. God bless my fellow Americans. 4, 10, 20.
Which is, as most people that watch this show, DJT.
Mm-hmm. And of course, 35 is mentioned twice because it's 35 miles and 35 minutes. So just for grins, if you look at Q drop,
keep that drop up for
35.
I got it. I still have it.
Anons crashed the site, high volume traffic. The Great Awakening, Q.
That last quote, for God to love the world that he gave his one and only Son, whoever believes him shall not perish but have eternal life. Correct? I just got that right?
Yeah.
Okay, that is John 3:16. Our friend Dr. C over here, I wasn't going to even talk about this, but now I'm just realizing there's something more here. Happen to notice
Dr. Craig, IET, the founding father of We the Media, somebody that I've looked up to for a very long time. What did he say?
Look at what time it was. 3:16 Mountain Time is exactly when Erica Kirk delivered her line about forgiving the
Killer. Wow. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever
And then
believes.
the love is patient, love is kind is from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians.
Which is also in one of the drops that Dan Scavino hit at 2:12 p.m. when they were landing the other day. So they're smacking the hell out of those for some reason.
Okay, well, that's
Can
the
can
most
you-
apocalyptic of the drops.
Can you bring the servers back up real quick? The ones you had laying on the floor?
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat said something I think is interesting. Oilman94 says that they're in a Q formation. I'd
Really?
like to take a look and see if
I
that's
didn't. Let's take a look.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Hang on. Think about it. Invert it.
Oh, right here. Like if you did.
If you look at the fact that they are arranged, yeah, I could see it. If you invert it, as in turn it upside down, you can see the Q.
I do see. I see what you're saying now. Possible. Seems a little stretchy, which I'm very good at stretchy. So I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm really good at stretchy, but I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying.
All right. I don't want to spend another whole show on Charlie Kirk because I'm pretty sure everyone's got fatigue with all that by now. But there are some things I want to point out that are going on that I think we should all at least take notice of. It was actually Patrick, your broadcast partner there, Jeff, that called in on Open Lines on Friday, and we were talking about how all these different psyops, from Trump to 345 Park Avenue to the Minneapolis school shooting to then this most recent one with Charlie Kirk, it's almost like they are putting more holes into this. And like I said, Rambo brings up a good counter argument. There's definitely more people awake and able to spot it. That's certainly a factor. But it also does seem like we keep getting stuff that comes out after the fact. And that to me is almost like somebody wants to stir the pot, like the hatch in the floor, right? Everyone saw the hatch. That didn't come out the first day. That came out like 2 days later, right? Why didn't
And
we
was
see
that real, by the way?
As far as I know, it's real. Yeah. As far as I know, it's real. In fact, apparently they were repaving the place today. Isn't that convenient?
Wow.
But we keep finding things after the fact, and to me, that's somebody hitting a button and say, okay, let's drop some more clues in. Let's keep stirring this. Let's keep getting people to look. And actually, a friend of mine who Joe knows as well. I wouldn't even consider him a normie anymore because he's kind of intelligent enough to be very open to what we talk about. But digging into Erica Kirk. Now, this is a world star hip hop, right? Doesn't matter whether you like hip hop or not.
World star.
The point is, this Instagram channel has 45.3 million followers. So it actually has a bigger reach technically than a Joe Rogan, right? 45.3 million followers.
Dave, let me say something because our audience is maybe not going to know who World Star is. World Star, it's not actually. World Star has gotten to 45.3 million followers because of, honestly, the mass majority of their content is black people punching black people in the face. It's not
Nice.
It's irrelevant. It's legitimately when people yell World Star, it's because something happened in the hood where there was a fight or an argument or a shooting or whatever. This account talks to the same audience that maybe, if I could just speculate, that the halftime show at the Super Bowl was speaking to. The mass majority, audience is relevant.
Well, but the point is, it's normies. They're not Q people.
No, but the point is, it's counterculture.
Okay, for the purposes of what I'm presenting, I'm trying to explain that it's not a Q audience. Right. You're right, but
we're on the same page then.
Yeah, it's not a Q audience. It's not even really a conspiracy theory audience. And yet their featured slideshow this morning was about Erica Kirk. And there is your thing right there. Draw your own conclusions. The internet is saying something ain't adding up. And they're highlighting things like this connection, which I think most people by now would know, that she competed in the 2012 Miss USA competition, which at the time was owned by Donald Trump. Yeah, there's a picture of her at the Trump International. And then they were also noticing what we talked about a week ago, that Erica Kirk's father, Charlie Kirk's father, was an architect involved in the construction of Trump Tower, right? So again, the specifics of this isn't super important, but where I'm going with this is whatever they're doing, going back to what Patrick was saying when we were talking about social media manipulation, they are very, 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 very clearly doing something to get people to, at very least, question what they're being told. Now, most people are not going to the point of saying it was a fake assassination, and they don't have to.
No.
The point is they're pulling in the masses. And Joe, we made the comment many times, like, by the end of this, part of this operation is turning everybody into conspiracy theorists. And I think that's what this is doing. So I found something yesterday. We're digging around, and let's take a look at this little clip. This is from a ministry or church, the Calvary Oro Valley Church in Tucson, Arizona. And this is a podcast with Erica Kirk at the time, Erica Frenzieri, whatever her maiden name was. And she was asked at the end of the interview why she moved to Arizona. Take a listen to what she says.
Maybe off topic. How did your mom choose Phoenix?
So she chose to move to Phoenix from Ohio because there was more of an opportunity for a female business owner out here, especially from the standpoint of she was getting involved with the government, so Homeland Security and Department of Defense. And so she had other business partners that were out here that were already in that industry, even one that was a mentor of hers. So it was really convenient to be able to come all together in one place to really have that. But my father ended up moving out here as well because my grandparents had a home out in Sun City. And so it took a little bit to get everyone out here. It took several years, but by that time, everyone was out here. So we had a little bit more family than just us.
So I did a little dig. And as it turns out, Erica Kirk's mother is, in fact, a DOD and Homeland Security contractor. Owner of a company called Aztec International. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but has a current GSA contract. They are a direct federal contracting vehicle. We found all the different DUNS numbers, the registrations, shows a $2.6 million in Department of Defense awards across 8 contracts between 2000 and 2020. Company's site highlights defense industry work in compliance with DOD program management. She's a government contractor. And now I'm showing you this because, not to brag, like I told you guys, my average X post will get 7, 8, 10,000 views. This one, as of present, has 2.3 million views.
Million views. Here, Dave, let me just step in and tell you guys. Anybody that watches this show knows that I talk about this all the time. I believe that the Patriots, aka White Hats or whoever, they call people influencers, but they have the ability to step on or amplify anything that goes out on the internet. And so I agree with Dave. If something like that's going to go viral, then it was meant to be seen, because otherwise they would just shut you up.
And they do it all the time. They do it to us all the time.
Yeah. For example, my YouTube channel right now, even as we speak, has only got 6 people watching, even though I promoted it on my Twitter, and even though they're saying they're desuppressing. They have the ability to perfectly limit or perfectly explode the views on anything. By the way, that last name, Francois, is one of the most uncommon names in the universe. Like beyond uncommon. It's the rarest name. There are 20 people in the world in history named that.
Lanny Lou just nailed it. So they want us to know they're lying to us. Yes.
Yes.
But not what I'm focusing on here is not to the level where we go. I don't believe anything will ever get to the point in our lifetime of if you believe the whole thing was staged. I don't think that's where they're trying to. But they are, and I got 2 more clips to show before we move on to the next topic. I don't want to spend the whole show on Charlie Kirk.
But the choice to know will be yours applies right here.
Yes.
Yeah. And they are, so the bottom line, what I believe they're doing with all this stuff, and the next thing I'm going to show becomes even less believable. It's where they're really getting people are like, no, enough. Is exactly what Lanny Lou said. They not to the level of the Q operation, but they want the public to start to really see in real time that they're being lied to. And that's why I think they're putting so many holes in these stories. By the way, as a side note, Patrick Gomez says she was a 2012 Miss America, Miss USA, when Donald Trump owned the pageant. The Secret Army was founded around 2012. Charlie Kirk started Turning Point around 2012. Did you happen to see during the broadcast the other night the picture of the Turning Point USA headquarters from 2012?
I did not.
There you go.
The address is 217 and a half, I believe, Main Street, and sure as hell looks like that's a Q hanging in the window. And this is directly, we took this right off the broadcast. This was a Turning Point USA video during the broadcast. This was their 2012 Turning Point corporate headquarters.
Come on.
217 and a half.
Now, the point is, somebody said, well, that's a wreath and it's a shadow. I can give you that, but my question is, who made it look that way when they put it into the video?
I agree. I agree that it's a wreath and a shadow.
I agree.
When you add it to 217.5, it becomes more interesting. When you add in the positions that her parents hold, it becomes more interesting. When you look at, cleaning up of a crime scene before it ever should have been cleaned up, it all becomes more interesting. It's about not one dot. It's about connecting all of the dots. Sure. Add them all up, throw away half of them, and then tell me it's still mathematically possible. It's not.
Yep. So the reason I was the reason I was calling out, and again, at this point, I want to say it's a coincidence, but I just have trouble with it. When I see this dude popping up, and he looks exactly like
Superman,
the Man of Steel, right? A day after we get this Fugazi story, the surgeon says Charlie Kirk's body stopped a bullet in an absolute miracle that saved others. Turning Point USA says, and a hat tip to MJ Truth on this one. He did a good job digging on it. Patrick, could you read his post there?
Certainly. Charlie Kirk, are you buying this? Turning Point USA spokesman Andrew Colvett said he spoke directly with the surgeon who worked on Kirk at the hospital. According to Colvett, the surgeon explained that the round, quote, absolutely should have gone through, which is very, very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc. But in this case, the bullet stopped. It was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. The surgeon reportedly told Colvett, noting that dozens of staff, students, and special guests had been standing behind Kirk inside the tent at Utah Valley University. Colvett said the doctor described Kirk's bone as, quote, so healthy and so impressive that he's like the Man of Steel. The bullet was eventually found lodged just beneath the skin. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Colvett wrote, remarkable, miraculous. And I immediately wrote him, F you.
Now, before I go any further, let's just show people what a 30-aught bullet does to concrete. And I think we could all agree that concrete is a little more dense than the human neck, probably. Yeah, I think so.
First shot, Ruger American 30-06 Winchester Super X 180 grain round. Let's take a shot at these cinder blocks.
Now, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge Ragman 44's comment because it's interesting. 217.5. If you do 217.5s, that's a 35. We already touched on that drop today.
We did.
Testing. Second, this is where the faith-based God movement loses me. And I don't want to offend anybody when I say this because I promise you, there's no reason I'm here on this planet if it wasn't for God having his hands all over my personal story. But trying to say that like God stopped a bullet with his spine just doesn't make sense to me. We live in the real world.
Textbook example of actually taking the Lord's name in vain.
I agree. I agree. And that's my point. And I don't mean to offend anyone, but this is a very, what's supposed to be realistic scene with a very realistic gun and a very real human, and claiming that, God blocked the bullet with his spine is offensive to me.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, it gets more interesting. This is our hero. Patrick, read the right side.
At what point does it become mathematically impossible? White House posts Superman. Tyler Robinson spotted with a Superman poster behind him. The surgeon who worked on Charlie Kirk just said he's like the Man of Steel. Superman is known as the Man of Steel. Charlie, yeah.
Now,
so
what gets even more interesting? It's a little covered up, and again, this is MJ Truth put this together. What's interesting is people would say, well, they posted that Superman image back in July, and they did, but they posted it at 10:10 p.m. on July 10th. 10:10. What day did Charlie Kirk get shot?
9/10.
The 10th. So another little interesting take there. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's not. But the White House, the 10-10-10, it's absurd, right? The picture of Tyler Robinson just happens to have the same exact Superman poster. And yes, I know the movie's out now. I get it. It's in a lot of places. I'll give you that. What it's doing though is, and this is the last video I got on this before we move on, is it's causing people all over the place. Again, going back to my initial slide, what I started with, Instagram accounts like Joe was pointing out, which is a hip hop, counterculture, not a Alex Jones account with 50 million people, are saying, somebody tell me what the F is going on. So they're digging into this. Listen to this guy.
See this.
And what I would say very quickly is this guy I'm about to show you, and I lost his X thing here, but is what I would consider maybe the Alex Jones level of Awaken, and they're tearing this stuff apart. They're taking this stuff. It's getting so ridiculous that they're taking it as an insult to their intelligence, which is causing them to dig more into it.
Bet you didn't see this. Okay, so let me break this down for you real quick. I can't even believe I'm making this video, but these people now want you to believe that after the crime scene has been completely cleared of all evidence, it's been completely reconstructed. Yes, it's been literally reconstructed.
The university is already making some changes. They're replacing the grass.
There's the hatch, Patrick, by the way. That's the hatch everyone's talking
God.
about. Yeah.
There it is.
That needs to be verified that that's where he was sitting, by the way.
I've seen reports that where it was. I haven't personally verified it yet. but I do believe that was the case.
In the grass where Charlie Kirk was speaking with pavers, and there are several petitions online asking the school to make this into a permanent memorial for Charlie Kirk.
Now that that's happened, these people want you to believe that the bullet that went into Charlie Kirk didn't in fact leave Charlie Kirk. They want you to believe that he is a miracle man. They want you to believe that he's the Man of Steel and that he protected the lives behind him and that his body shielded that bullet. Okay, so let's just play along for a minute. Let's just play along and say that's the truth. Okay, cool. Look, I'm someone who believes in miracles, okay? Let's just say that it's real. So that it was a miracle. The bullet didn't leave Charlie and it saved the people behind him. Awesome. I love it. That's great. Who shot the bullet? Where did it get shot from? Who's behind the assassination? Why was he killed?
Questions.
Why are all of the narratives complete garbage? Why is everything they've told us completely 100% easily debunked? Why is the media running cover for it? Why is the Prime Minister of Israel coming out and saying that he didn't kill someone?
A monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous.
Why does he have to do that? Why is there all this information surfacing about board members and about the internal organization and potential ties to corruption within the organization? Why is everyone and anyone attacking the people that are actually asking these questions? Why does it seem like he's being used as a martyr? Let me tell you, they are weaponizing people's faith and they are using it against them to distract from all of the questions that I just asked. They are using this idea that this is something we should be praising and something we should be so grateful for, and let's shift all of the narrative. Let's shift all of our energy from asking the important questions to getting to the bottom of the actual assassination, the actual case that just took place. Let's shift it all from that to God. Let's shift it all from that to faith.
Wasn't there a magic bullet theory when JFK was assassinated?
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
That's interesting, huh?
Yeah, and nobody ever got to check on any of that. And don't forget, the video evidence of the Kennedy assassination was not released until 1975. That's 12 years later.
Yep.
Can I just emphasize the point that I do believe God has his hands all over this? But God uses people, and we're witnessing people being used in God's name. And I hope and I hope and pray that what I'm watching is genuine, because what we've been told is not true. And I just showed it on the other day that there is a verse in the Bible that talks about concealment and making us want to look into and ask the questions and find God. So I do believe God had his hands in this, but what we actually watched was littered. And when I say littered, I mean littered with inconsistencies.
Yeah. And that's my point. They keep rolling out more. Like I said, the shooting happened, and it wasn't for a couple of days that anybody noticed that hatch. And it's like they let that seed marinate for a while. Okay, guys, chew on this one, and then they turn around and they come out with the magic bullet now. And then now they're gonna let that, and it's causing, like, I think that video is very emblematic of with anybody with that's not a complete normie right now is saying. Joe, I told you the other day. I know I'm repeating myself, but there's an 83-year-old woman I know from our local little watering hole here. I go sit by myself, and she's always there. Her husband's very old, very nice lady. She's not stupid, and she looked at me and she goes, "What the f is going on with this?" She goes, I'm looking at a guy. They're telling me that he's got a gun in his pants and he's jumping off a roof and he's putting the. She's like, this is all bullshit, isn't it? That's the design. Yeah. And Joe, before we move forward, since he brought up the Israel thing, I do want to bring up one other connection that I think they seeded into the narrative space yesterday. And I noticed this when he said it. Let's take a listen to Tucker, because I don't think Tucker does anything by accident at this point.
It actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it, and they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem.
Bro. Come on.
So when he told that story, I was sitting there, I'm like, well, he's paralleling the pharaohs and the Jews, I hate to say it, that sat around and decided to kill Jesus. And I'm like, is he insinuating what I think he's insinuating? And sure enough, cue the New York Post the next day. Tucker Carlson accused of stoking anti-Semitic conspiracy theory about Charlie Kirk murder at the memorial service. That was yesterday morning. Tucker has been accused by Jewish groups and Israeli media outlets of promoting anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And then, what are the chances that yesterday was the first day of Tucker Carlson's new 5-part series on 9/11? And also the chances of this morning at 8:54 a.m., 8 plus 5 plus 4 adds up to 17. Here comes General Laser Pointer himself, General Michael Flynn, saying a deeper look at 9/11 is necessary. This is long in coming and needed the voice of a Tucker Carlson to get it over the finish line. Pay close attention to this series at Real Donald Trump. Wacky, wacky, wacky timing of all this stuff, huh?
I got nothing. This is Patrick. It's insane, right?
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
You know, tiny little rabbit hole I tried to go down and didn't get much of anywhere, but Erica Kirk's family tree is just interesting to me. It's like this rare Swedish name. The rarest, the super rarest. You can know all of her relatives because there's like nobody named that. And her parents, her father, is oddly suppressed from the record. You can find it, but it's kind of tricky. She wasn't born to this dude in Wikipedia. That's taken away. You can find it, but you got to go look through obituaries. If you go to jenny.com, you can get to her grandfather, but then her father and her mother, they're both redacted, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to have those things be public. It interests me, though.
Well, what did we talk about, Patrick, in, I don't know if I have the slide here. What did we talk about in the Secret Army piece? We talked about what they call legacy mapping.
Yeah.
That has the which, and for anyone that didn't see it, legacy mapping is where the intelligence agencies, I believe I have it right here. It's not like legends, excuse me, legend mapping. And legend mapping is where the intelligence agencies or the military goes in and creates things like you see here: fake identities, birthplaces, education addresses, credit histories, parents, just like they did with the Obamas. So I didn't dig as much as you did either, but I found similar things. And when there's holes like that, that is very emblematic of a created legend. There's very little to look into.
for people that are fans of DECLAS and have been watching for a while, this isn't the first one that fit this mold, right? Dom Luker was a great one. When Dave and I went and we met Dom and we saw him on stage next to General Flynn, and he said a whole bunch of things that sounded just like DECLAS, by the way. And we were like, what the heck? And we look up this guy and we find out that he spent some of his time at Fort Bragg, which is the home of Fort Pog and APOG. This is not the first time. It's not even close to the first time that we've talked about people that potentially fit the mold of being that secret 60,000 man army.
Yeah, and look, I think it's such an. I did rip out the hour of that. I posted it on X. I'm going to post it as a standalone video on my Rumble channel as well. Like that hour that we talked about it, because Joe, I think to your point, like if we know there's 60,000 of these people at least, and that's not including other people from other countries that also have the same signature reduction programs. Then I would just try to prepare people's minds that it's possible that anybody you see on your television screen it falls into that category. Prove to me that that person's name is actually Joe whatever. I don't mean Rambo, but like prove to me prove to me Jesse Waters is Jesse Waters. And I'm not saying he's one of them, but just we don't know. We don't know what we don't know.
Her dad is definitely a Department of Defense contractor. Kent Franzva. He works for AZ Tech International. They do solutions for DOE and DOD, and their contract.
That's the mother's company. So the father works there too. I didn't get that far.
Father definitely, according to LinkedIn, the father works there.
Yeah. And by the way, you said the key thing, which to me is a breadcrumb. What department do they do work for? The Department of Energy? You mean the same place where Q clearance comes from?
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was my next point.
Yeah.
It's DOE. Q is DOE.
Correct. So anyway, that's it. There's goaztech.com. So.
And it makes you think, like, with all the different connections of so many of these different people to like The Apprentice and all this stuff, like, how long was Trump recruiting people for this stuff?
Oh God. Let me play two things. That's a great point because this show, Rambo and Friends, and I think some of you guys as well, has been asking the question specifically through JFNon and Sapioplex, how long this has been going on, right? Those guys go way back into history. But they truly intrigued me with some of the things that they brought up because we're looking at 2012, 2013, right? All the things you just referenced, Dave. Doge was 2013. What's been tip of the tongue here in the last 2 weeks has also been the Smith-Mundt Act. When did that go into effect? It was Barack Obama, right? And so Barack Obama's term.
Also, remember, Truth Social was registered on 11/18/11.
Right. Another great point. 11. Right. And Barack Obama was president from 2009 until 2017. Okay. So I got to throw these in here before we do sponsors and thumbs and all that stuff. Trump just said this today at the UN. Let me find it here, guys. Bear with me. Intro, Charlie. Shoot. Where's it at? I'm getting frustrated. Yeah, do it again. Oh, here we go. All right, here it is. Here's the first one.
Thank you very much. So I've been waiting for this meeting for 20 years, actually. And it's not that everything's 100% understood or known, but I think we've made a lot of strides. Wish it was done a long time ago. Today, we're delighted to be joined by America's top medical and public health professionals as we announce historic steps to confront the crisis of autism. Horrible, horrible crisis. I want to thank the man who brought this issue to the forefront of American politics along with me. And we actually met in my office, is it like 20 years ago, Bobby? It's probably 20 years ago in New York. I was a developer, as you probably heard, and I always had very strong feelings about autism and how it happened and where it came from. And he and I don't know, the word got out, and I wouldn't say that people were very understanding of where we were, but it's turning out that we understood a lot more than a lot of people who studied it, we think. And I say we think because I don't think they were really letting the public know what they knew. Thanks as well to the director of the National Institute of Health, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya.
Can we just acknowledge he just said that he's been having these conversations for 20 years? Do you know what historical events happened 20 years ago? The Iraq War, Hurricane Katrina, death of Pope John Paul II, introduction to the euro, global financial crisis in 2008, and also 9/11 in 2001. If you're to wrap within a year or so of exactly 20 years ago. And not only that, but we've been told by Donald Trump that I've been preparing for this battle my entire life.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been preparing my entire life for this battle. We did such a great job 4 years ago. We were unfairly interrupted. Let's be nice about it.
Come on. Does that not fit right into the 60,000 man army, Charlie Kirk, everything that we've just seen through the last couple of weeks?
Of course it does. Of course it does. It could be anybody. And that's always been one of the things that kind of blows, and it blew my mind before I knew about the 60,000 army. Once I did, it's even more so. When we sit here and we do these podcasts and we're like, we feel like no one knows. No, I think there's a lot of people that know, but like Q tells you, operators never divulge. It's just the way it works.
20 years. And there's another thing from that press conference. Donald Trump comes out and he starts talking about Tylenol. Important to note, he only talked about it as a fever reducer. People take Tylenol to alleviate pain. They also take Tylenol to reduce a fever. There are two indications for it. Never once did he talk about it as a pain reliever. You know, people get pain during pregnancy, but he's only talking about a fever. The reason for that is because fever is the most commonly presented reaction to a vaccine. First thing that happens is you get the vaccine, then you get a fever. The fever is your body trying to get that crap out of you. When your body temperature goes up, things get runnier because viscosity goes down. And when things are runnier, you can pee them out, you can poop them out, you can sweat them out, you can vomit them up. And you take Tylenol then, and it reduces the fever to make sure the poison stays in there. And Tylenol is the only fever reducer approved for pregnant women. Now, don't forget, these vampires have been jabbing pregnant women forever now. It's been totally safe. This is totally safe for pregnant women. It's better for your baby. So when he's going after Tylenol, there's a specific strategy there. And another thing I noticed about that press conference, so important, that what the second mother who came up there said, she's got a son who's 11, who's so-called high-functioning autistic. And then she made sure to say, I've been waiting 9 years for this press conference. Not 11 years, 9, which means the kid wasn't injured until age 2. And I guarantee you that wasn't Tylenol that did it.
Yep. And I have a bunch of clips from yesterday, Joe. I guess after the break here, we can, if you want, we can go into those. Because I think I know I personally was very wary about yesterday. I'm like, are they going to go there with the vaccines? And they did, and I want to just caution before you do your ads, Joe. So I see some people in the chat talking about the new drug they talked about. Like, once again, yesterday is another example of a step, not the complete process. So I caution people about judging yesterday as like, oh, that's it. No, yesterday is a stepping stone towards the full truth. And by now, I think we should all be used to that is the process. Whether we like it or not, that's the process with all this stuff. A little bit out here, a little bit there, a little bit more here, moving people like the seagrass, like Joe says. So I was actually surprised with some of these clips that they went in as heavy on vaccines. Like Trump had some pretty serious language about vaccines yesterday, which I did not. I was pleasantly surprised to hear. But that is a great point, Patrick, about the fever. Great point.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you know what? Speaking of it, let's do that break so we can get further into that conversation, because I do feel like that's the whole second half of the show. So we got tons to talk about. If I could first just say to you guys, the goal is almost met with everybody doing this unicity thing with me. I've made my health issues something public on the show. It is helping getting more people involved with the Feel Great system. It is one of the key components in what I'm doing with trying to get my blood pressure down, get surgery, etc. You know, when you don't live a clean life your whole life and you end up doing it in the end of your life, you end up with repercussions, right? All of our choices end up having action. So with that, I want to say thank you to everybody that's doing this with me. We've almost met our goals for everybody that's doing it together with us here at the end. Patrick, if you could also have David Becker up for the end, and I want to hear you just after we run this spot here by Steve.
They don't want you to know about this simple daily protocol that's helping people ditch their meds and reclaim their health and live again. Here's how. If you're constantly battling low energy, cravings, stubborn weight, just feeling off, listen up. Up to 88% of American adults suffer from some degree of insulin resistance. The Feel Great protocol is a simple daily two-step system designed to help your body work with you, not against you. That's it. No crazy diets, no meds, just science-backed support your body understands. Feel Great is perfect for you if you have low energy, weight control, high blood pressure or cholesterol, poor sleep, diabetes, snacking, overeating, cravings, gut health, PCOS, and more. This isn't a trend, it's a transformation. Support Rambo and lock in $70 off only at rambospecial.com. If you're ready to reclaim your health and feel great again, go to rambospecial.com.
I've been a type 2 diabetic for 15 years. I was overweight for 25 years. I was an eating machine. I would hit the refrigerator, eat something. An hour later, eat something. My doctor wanted to put me on another med. He wanted to put me on a statin. And that was the line in the sand for me. I was like, no, I'm already on enough meds because of the metformin I was on. Not to mention 10 milligrams of lisinopril for high blood pressure. I'd already been to every vitamin store in the world looking for supplements. And that's when I said, I'm going to look for something. And I saw this protocol on TikTok. And here I am, 120 pounds lighter. I went from an A1C of 9.2 to 6.2 in 3 months. Now I'm at a 5.4. Cholesterol is down. And the 159 a month, I save $300 a month in just grocery bills. I am cash positive every month. It's crazy. It has changed my life. The energy that I have is incredible. I feel better than when I was 40. This is not something that you keep for yourself. This is something you share with your family. You share with your friends, because you cannot understand the quality of life you'll gain by returning yourself back to good metabolic health. Give yourself the 90 days.
If you're ready to reclaim your health and feel great again, go to rambospecial.com.
All right, so that sponsor is actually really exciting because so many people are joining us in doing so, and I am personally putting my life story out there as we go through it, and I hope you guys do it with me. Now, Patrick, I did just receive your what's the pain one, the balm?
That is, it's called Tulip Soothe.
Yeah, I'm using it on my wrist right now.
People are raving about it. It has an essential oil blend in it, and it's a very high concentration essential oil blend. Do not put this on your face. Do not use it if you are pregnant, but it has a bunch of essential oils on it that relieve pain in a very quick way, and we're getting enormously positive feedback on it. So check that out at tulipblooms.shop. However, I'm not covering this product today because we just ran out of Kunzia essential oil, and I have to wait a week for more to get here, so I won't be able to make more for a week. So I'm actually talking about Castor Blend today. By the way, have you tried the Tulip Soothe at all, or have you put it on and part of the places that hurt you?
Literally just doing it right now.
Awesome. Brilliant. Yeah. You need to wait. It's got some, it's got eugenol, which numbs you, and you got to wait 10 or 15 minutes for the full effect. The best way to describe the way you notice it is like, you're like, holy crap, that feels a lot better. And we've got people just, they're digging it in big ways. But the promo on that one's not going because I can't make any more for at least a week. I'm doing Castor Blend. So let me just show you Castor Blend real briefly, if that's all right. The Castor Blend is ultra processing. There we are. It is the OG product with tulip blooms. It is not sticky like heavy castor oil. It feels nothing like castor oil. Castor Blend it's a silky, fast absorbing, and it's truly luxurious on your skin. It's because it's crafted with a symphony of premium oils: jojoba, apricot kernel, amaranth, argan, sea buckthorn fruit oil, and vitamin E. They all work together to soften, nourish, and restore. What makes it unlike anything else in the world is the core essential blend crafted by us: tea tree oil for clarity, lavender for calm, rose geranium for balance. Together, they create a clean, uplifting aroma and a performance no other product can match. Castor Blend is your do-everything formula. It goes in your hair, goes on your skin, goes everywhere. Hair, face, nails, body, and beyond. Right now, buy one, get one half off. So go to tulipblooms.shop. Use promo code Rambo for an extra 10% off all the Castor Blend products. Buy one, get one half off. And we're going to run that through Friday night. Castor Blend, the original, the most versatile, the one that feels like luxury. Promo code Rambo for 10 extra % off. And every time you use that promo code, 25% of that order goes straight to Joe to pay for the bills over at Rambo and Friends. Tulipblooms.shop, promo code Rambo.
I do want to throw Dave's. What is your promo code, Dave? Treason?
No, channel 17.
Channel 17. Okay, sorry.
Did I not put this on? Did this not go on the screen?
No, it did. It did. And Dave was muted. And I
shoot. Oh well, hey, there it is. That's what it looks like. All
right. And I don't want to go too far with this, but I do want to say, Patrick, I just had to shave my beard off because I thought I was going into surgery, and they have to like have a good seal with the oxygen and the funny gas thing that they put on your face. And so as soon as I'm done with this surgery thing, I'm going to be using what you just sent me, which I'm super grateful
beard oil, which does contain some castor oil, but it's only 5% castor oil. As a beard oil, it's good stuff.
I already have, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Awesome.
Yeah. I actually, your stuff showed up as I was shaving off my very dry, very salt and pepper beard. Yeah. Hit the counter and I had to clean up. And I was thinking maybe it won't be so dry and like haggard if I use Patrick's product. So that's my next goal as soon as I grow it back.
Oh, Castor Blend will be in the mail very shortly.
Yeah. HJK said, I thought you were Mark. Oh man, I'm not that gay. Okay, back into the show. Thank you guys for supporting the sponsors that supported the show. Every sponsor you'll ever see on the show is completely vetted, 100% Patriot through and through. So it's the best way you can support the show because you get something back out of it. So thank you for doing so. Dave, do you have anything you want to go into next, or do you want me to go into my clips?
I think given what Patrick brought up, I think we should go through some of the clips of the autism press conference yesterday, right? Absolutely. Before we do the UN stuff.
Sure.
I have a bunch here. I don't know if you want to inject any. I'm going to try to do these in somewhat order. I would also encourage everybody. I mean, I clipped a lot yesterday. Obviously, we don't have time to go through all these on the show, but I would definitely the whole press conference itself only ran about 52 minutes or so. Actually, I heard somebody say it was exactly 55 minutes. Maybe it was. I don't know. I haven't verified that, but it's on our SBN. I would definitely give it a listen. So let's just start by going through them. Let's see. This is what I mean, where I believe he's laying enough of the groundwork to start a conversation. And I think this is what you're going to see probably over the next few days. You already have been, this is going to be another one of those examples of controversy breeds conversation. So like Patrick said, the focus of it was on Tylenol. We'll show you a couple of those clips. But in between that, he went very heavy into vaccines without openly saying they're the cause, but anybody that watches this and listens to his words, it's going to be very obvious. And one of the places he started talking was about the Amish.
To 10,000, and then you go to 12, you know there's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism. That have no autism. Does that tell you something? That's currently, is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish, yeah, virtually. I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say. But you have certain groups. The Amish, as an example, they have essentially no autism.
So that was the first one. And then this one kind of leans into, again, Joe, tacking on to what you showed the other day when he talks about how long he's been doing it. But this is where he kind of really leans into the amount of, I'll just call it chemicals, poison that they pump into babies.
Say that they will maybe say at a little bit later date, but I think when you go for the shot, you do it over a 5-time period. Take it over 5 times or 4 times, but you take it in smaller doses and you spread it out over a period of years. And they pump so much stuff into those beautiful little babies, it's a disgrace. I don't see it. I think it's very bad. They're pumping, it looks like they're pumping into a horse. You have a little child, a little fragile child, and you get a vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess, 80 different blends, and they pump it in. So ideally, a woman won't take Tylenol. And on the vaccines, it would be good instead of one visit where they pump the baby, load it up with stuff, you'll do it over a period of 4 times or 5 times. I've been so into this issue for so many years just because I couldn't understand how a thing like this could happen. And you know it's artificially induced. It's not like something that when you go from all of those, healthy babies to a point where I don't even know structurally if a country can afford it. And that's the least of the problems. To have families destroyed over this is just so terrible. I also, and we've already done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine. The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel, the mumps, measles, and the 3 should be taken separately. And it seems to be that when you mix them, there could be a problem. So there's no downside in taking them separately. In fact, they think it's better, so let it be separate. The chicken pox is already separate because when that got mixed in, I guess they made it 4 for a while, it really was bad. So they make chicken pox. Individually, they're okay. When you mix them, something maybe happens. So there's no downside in doing it. It's not like, oh, if you do it, bad things. No, it's only good side. And it may not have that much of an impact, but it may have a big impact. So let those be taken separately. And then hepatitis B is sexually transmitted. There's no reason to give a baby that's almost just born hepatitis B. So I would say wait till the baby is 12 years old and formed and take hepatitis B. And I think if you do those things, it's going to be a whole different, it's going to be a revolution in a positive sense in the country.
That last point is so important.
Yeah.
Hepatitis B is sexually transmitted, and we're giving it to infants.
Yep.
What are we saying?
It's one of the most asinine things they do. I don't have, it's a good example of how they've turned most people into robots. We saw it during COVID. That's why COVID was so important for everyone to live through. they give you these narratives, and I don't have this particular clip available, but I'll just paraphrase it. The other, when asked about the rate increase of autism, the first thing they go to is they will tell you they have better diagnostics. That's the first thing they say. And RFK immediately came back and essentially in a very nice way said that's complete bullshit, because again, that's what someone will repeat to you. We have better diagnostic tools. Well, if you do, how come nobody under the age of how come no one over the age of 45 has autism? Barely. When you get to once you get to like 60, it's non-existent. Well, if you had better diagnostic tools, you'd be diagnosing them at the same rate as you did with the kids, but it's not. It's infinitely higher, right? But people will just repeat that talking point. No. And by the way, I love when people say, they go, we have better diagnostics. And then I say, okay, which ones are they? Well, we have better diagnostics. Tell me what they're doing differently now than they were 10 years ago. You can't
trust the science.
Right. Yeah. You're telling me, and by the way, they said this in it, and I'm not saying this in a joking way, but so you're telling me when a kid is sitting there literally smashing his head against the wall that you weren't able to see that 20 years ago? What the hell are they even talking about? What are they even talking about? But we will just repeat that. And to your point, Joe, they get you to take a 2-month-old baby and inject something that is a sexually transmitted disease. And then some stupid reporter said, well, needles too. Well, yeah, I guess if your kid's out doing heroin, they're at risk for it. Sure. If your 3-year-old kid is out on the streets shooting up, give him the Hep B vaccine. But otherwise, that's absurd too.
Yeah, I didn't mean to laugh at that. Patrick?
Hepatitis B is not caused by a virus, because viruses don't exist. All vaccines are stupid. If you take them, you haven't thought it through. The end. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
And Patrick, I want to say something, because I've done a show with you on this. I tend to lean more into that camp than most. But the second part of what you said is pretty much where I am. Like, I'm at the point of like all vaccines unnecessary. And I know a lot of people, I was just looking at some comments yesterday. A lot of people will look at this and say Trump didn't go far enough. Well, he's saying split up the things. I want no shots. I get it.
Oh yeah, I do too.
I get it.
By the way,
what would happen? What would happen if he came and said, you know what, we don't need to make a 55-minute press conference. All vaccines are dangerous. Thank you. Have a good day. Where the hell would that have gone? Nowhere.
It would have gone badly.
Nowhere.
And that's why when I posted something very simple, right? No clip, no news article, no video. I just said, I think Tylenol is the intro to what's coming. And it's well over 600,000 views at this point. Remember when we talked about if it wasn't supposed to be heard, it wouldn't be pushed?
Mm-hmm.
There's another example. And in there, Donald Trump did talk about the Amish. So I wanted to show something real quick. Give me a thumbs down if this audio doesn't come through correctly.
The Amish basically have no obesity, no infertility, no cancer, no diabetes.
I have an echo?
You got a bad echo on that.
Okay. Well, then hold on, because we're going to do it differently then. That's the issue. I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm trying to learn. By the way, here, when that cricket stops, I promised you guys all on the last show. Can you not hear me right now? Are you just doing that to my voice? No, I promised everybody I would talk to Abs about getting the plug-in so that you can make sure you get all of the things. Well, it turns out I got to use Chrome, and I hate Chrome. It's an old, they're commies attitude. So I've been using Brave the whole time. So now I'm trying to transfer everything to Chrome. Abs seems to think that it'll fix my audio issues. Anyway, that's where we're at this whole thing. This should come through better. Take a listen to this stuff about the Amish, which, by the way, I came from South Central Pennsylvania. These were my neighbors.
The Amish basically have no obesity, no infertility, no cancer, no diabetes, no metabolic sick. They're having 10 plus kids, and they're incredibly happy. They've basically staved off every single health issue the rest of the world is not. Their obesity rate is only 4%, while it's 42% in the rest of America. They have the highest fertility in the world, and they're doubling every 20 years. We need to be learning from them. The Amish basically have no obesity, no.
It's pretty interesting if you look at it. Of course, they do have the Amish mafia that's on TV, and a couple of them did get caught selling drugs. But you know, there's a bad egg in every bunch. That's actually completely true. Patrick, do you know that story?
No, I don't know about the Amish selling
So
drugs.
I'm from Pennsylvania, so one of the largest meth busts ever in Pennsylvania was the Amish. But they won't catch me because they don't watch TV. But except for that, those ones probably do. But as a society, as a culture, their group, how have they beat everything that we struggle with?
Yeah, it just turns out you just need to stay away from doctors.
Right. You don't vaccinate. You stay away from processed foods. They don't
Anybody in a
have-
white coat, just walk the other direction.
Yeah, basically.
They got barns full of money too.
The other thing too, and again, I think it's important. I'm not going to run the clip because I don't want to make the show too long. But it's important to note all day yesterday leading up to this, what were some of the mainstream channels, more so, of course, on Fox News. But let's just use Fox News as an example, right? Because people love, well, that's conservative news. It is. But the damn channel, depending on where you check, it could be anywhere from 60 to 90% of their revenue at a certain point came from pharma ads, right? We know that to be the case. And what were they doing? Breaking down the numbers, like further than even Trump did, and breaking it down by country. And what were they showing? They didn't go quite as far as I would have liked, and maybe we'll do this on Saturday, but it is a simple causation, in my humble opinion. They show the map, and all the red countries, which is the similar thing you have with cancer too, by the way, are all. Then you could just use your little Googles if you want, or if you want to get more sophisticated and use AI. Then you could simply ask AI, give me a list of the most vaccinated countries, and guess what you find? It's the same freaking map. Like, are we that stupid as a society that we can't understand basic correlation? Oh, but then they'll tell you correlation isn't causation. Okay, well, what is?
It's the biggest ridiculous, stupid, smart boy, gay wad response. Yeah. Correlation is not causation. Did you know that David Hume, in the 17th century, basically demonstrated philosophically that causation can never be demonstrated under any circumstances? It's called the problem of induction. Yeah, sure, we know that, dude. We also know 2 + 2 = 4. It doesn't mean that correlation isn't significant.
Right. And then they go back to circular arguments. No, it's not correlation. The correlation is not causation. These are all the more advanced countries in the world that have better diagnostics. They can't tell you what the hell they are. And people just take it, put it in their pocket, and go about their day because they don't think anymore. But the point I'm making is, and Trump's going to get into it in a minute. Like they were very open about pointing the finger at past administrations, about pointing the finger at big pharma. And once again, why is it that there have been people fighting for 20 years to get this information out? What changed that now at 5 p.m. in prime time, one of the prime time hours, a big pharma controlled company like Fox is allowed to sit there and ask questions all of a sudden? What has changed? I think we all know the answer, but
full control is being allowed to run wild. What exactly has changed, in your opinion? The opinion of the people?
Well, even if you look, you could go to me, and in my opinion, you could look at it two different ways, because not everyone watching the show believes in full control. So there are people that don't believe we control them.
The interpretations of full control are different. I think this audience believes in full control, but the interpretation is different, whether it be everything's fully controlled, it's all a movie, or the information surrounding being presented is the full control aspect. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Sure. That's a great way to put it. But there are also people that don't believe we control what goes out on Fox News. Okay, you don't have to. But then you have to say to yourself, what has been done behind the scenes to the people that we know would figuratively and in some cases literally go and put a gun to the head of executives at these networks and not let them talk about these. I mean, think about it. Do you really believe, as dumb as people can be, do you honestly believe if major news stations for the last 20 years were showing people that we've gone from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 12 in some cases, that over a 20-year period of that continually that we'd still be here? Of course not. It hasn't been allowed to be put. So my point being, you don't have to believe that we control everything that goes out on Fox News, but what you should be saying is what was neutralized in the background, that this is able to be done now. What control mechanism was pulled away that this is now safe and allowed to be done? I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead. I stepped on you.
No, you're okay. I'm actually going to agree and add on to your point. Personally, for me, the mainstream media being the enemy of the people was the very early on messaging that we got. And I don't believe that you could have gone into some sort of 5th generation warfare aspect without that switching hands. The aspect of the mainstream media being controlled by quote unquote white hats at this point is probably the most simple thing that I get through, especially when you start to look at what Trump just did in front of the UN or anything else that's, tip of the tongue, hot point discussion at this point. That mainstream media control is kind of a necessity as far as the rest of it. With everything else that had to go down, that had to be a thing. So that's the furthest thing from I am okay if you in the chat disagree with me, but I believe the mainstream media has been controlled for at least the last 6 or 8 years, at least.
I agree with you. I'm trying to focus everybody on the fact that it should at least give you some degree of comfort that although it might not seem overtly obvious, that the big pharma machine, the lobbyists, by the way, and it's a lot darker than just lobbyists, right? There's actual corporate espionage and CIA and dark stuff that has to have been neutralized for this to be happening. I got a few more clips, Joe. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So this is going to be almost repetitive, but I just want to point out for anybody that didn't see it, Trump, when he was talking about how I think he used the word disgusting or horrible about what they do to little babies. You can see that I think it's Joe, you watch a lot of Trump. Like you can see how sometimes something like he wants to go further and he's angry about it. It was very clear when he said it. And he at the end of the conference, he came back and he said it again about the babies.
Recommend, or certainly I do anyway, is and it's so important to me to see the doctor 4 times or 5 times for a vaccine. Don't let them pump your baby up with the largest pile of stuff you've ever seen in your life going into the delicate little body of a baby. Even if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you just break it up into, I would say 5, but let's say 4 visits to the doctor instead of 1. And certain things I think you should do. We've already taken out and are in the process of taking out mercury and aluminum now. You know what mercury is. You know what aluminum is. Who the hell wants that pumped into a body? And there were rumors about both of them for a long time. But we're having them taken out. We're having them taken out of the vaccines. Hepatitis.
I'll stop there.
Bro, when he tells you we already and are in the process of. Look, if anybody thinks you can just say, wave my magic wand, take out the mercury, take out the metals, you're fooling yourself. This is a large entrenched system that has been going on for decades. And so it's not like it can just be like taken care of. Donald Trump has told you just now that we were already and in the process of. This has not been going on for 3 days. This has been going on for years.
Yep. And then he started to, there was 2 points here. Neither one of these clips are too long where he was alluding to the fact and I believe this will be amplified more as we move forward. He did even allude to the fact that there was information openly being suppressed, as did RFK, which I'll show you in a minute. But he started out at the beginning here.
I wouldn't say that people were very understanding of where we were, but it's turning out that we understood a lot more than a lot of people who studied it, we think. And I say we think because I don't think they were really letting the public know what they knew.
That was the first one, and then this is the second one where he starts to talk about the kind of like the establishment, big pharma.
You could clear up confusion for moms and dads across America, many of whom voted for you. There's a statement that was put out by the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and in their statement, they write, acetaminophen remains a safe, trusted option for pain relief during pregnancy, and that's at odds with what you said and with what many of the experts say. How do you clear up this confusion?
That's the establishment. They're funded by lots of different groups. And you know what? Maybe they're right. I don't think they are, because I don't think the facts bear it out at all. They're fighting for something that, in my opinion, they shouldn't be fighting for. But here's the thing. There's no downside to doing, other than a mother will have to, as I say, tough it out a little bit. There's no downside to doing this. It's not like, oh, if you do this, you're going to die. There's no downside. There's no downside to going over a 4-year or a 5-year period or a 3-year period, or even if you space them out for 6 months, you space it out. There's no downside. And that's why I will say the gentleman behind me, they have very strong views, and they feel that we're right, but they'll have more research done over the next 2 months. I said, well, 2 months is a long time. A lot of people could be saved, and there's no downside to doing it. Everything I said, there's no downside to doing it. It can only be good. And I think you're going to see very good results. That's establishment stuff, and we've been reading that about a lot of things for years. And you know what's happened? We've gone from 1 in 20,000 to 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 32 to 1 in 10. Think of it. 1 in 10 or 12 or 1 in 31. Think of it. 1 in 31 people, young kids, get autism.
So he did that at a few points. Again, I'm not going to play every clip of that, but he and RFK in particular did make mention on numerous times that there was information actively being suppressed, and a few different questions. And I know for a lot of people that's a lot lighter than they'd want to see, but it is, the conversation is being started to let people know that there's something bigger. And he said they're chasing something they shouldn't be, which obviously he's talking about profit. And then I have just 2 more, but I don't know if you want to go around the horn on that, Patrick or Joe, if you got any more comments on that one.
Yeah, Patrick, if you got anything, by all means, bro.
I just thought it was really weird that the reporter couldn't pronounce acetaminophen either. I thought that was a pretty commonly known word. So there's that. I'm noticing on Twitter people going absolutely nuts about this Tylenol thing and saying Tylenol is going to sue the U.S. government into bankruptcy. And I think that's hilarious.
Dave, before you go on, I want to say something real quick, and it's got nothing to do with the topic. There's over 3,600 people watching on your Rumble. There's just over 3,100 watching on my channel. I just wanted to encourage everybody. This is, in my opinion, and of course I'm biased, turned into one of the most honest conversations you're ever going to be involved with on the internet. And so I just threw 5 subscriptions over in your channel, 5 on mine. That's my way of saying thank you to all you guys for being here. If you could, hit the thumbs up on whatever platform you're watching, whether it's Dave's Rumble, which, again, if you add in Twitter, there's like 15,000 people hanging out with us right now. Thank you. It means
I forgot
the world.
to put it on my Rumble, and I'm sorry for that. Hey, hit the like button, guys, on Rumble.
You know, Joe, I'm just looking at the chat, and I do forget that sometimes we have a lot of people watching that are not from the USA. So this particular person, Mash May, asked how many vaccines a baby gets after birth in the USA. I believe, Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong, the last time I looked, it was 78 shots.
It's something like that. Yeah, I don't know either. I
If
know
you
that
if you did the full schedule, it's
the real
in the
dive
70s.
bomb they hit them around 18 months with just a litany of poison. It's bad. By the way, somebody in the chat asked when I was at the hospital and I told him I didn't want any Hep B. I told him no injections of any kind. No injections, period. If there's a needle involved, you get it away from my daughter. And their response was, okay. And that was the last of it. It was never discussed again. And I had no separation between me and the baby. And they were fine with it. They really are.
Patrick, that doesn't surprise me because I've been hearing a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that's another one of those little hidden, what do I want to call it? We're in like 3 different matrices right now. There's like the mainstream matrix, there's a Q matrix, and there's like a blend, and then there's things that are actually happening that we don't see. And that doesn't surprise me because like you don't need to be an anon. I mean, the health movement in this country is huge, especially on post-COVID. There's people asking questions. So I can only imagine that particular hospital, as I've heard with others, have at least gotten to the point where they've been pushed back on enough that they reacted that way. And to me, that's
or another way of putting it, they are scared shitless. Also, our OBGYN's she really knows what she's doing and is very, very into informed consent in the old school way. There was never any issue in this hospital. And I'm sure there was 10 years ago. I'm sure there was 5 years ago, but here we are.
Yep. I have really just one more important one, Joe, that I want to play here about RFK talking about that. And it sounds to me like in the next 2 months, don't directly quote me, but based on what Trump said, we're going to get like the next wave of stuff. And again, I believe all this stuff has been done already. But RFK went on to outline all the different research they're going to do and how they are not just going to cherry pick things or wait until the end. They're going to be transparent throughout the entire process. So I believe that they have a plan in place to move from this conversation to rock solid evidence. That's where I believe it's headed. And I hope I'm right. But if that's what it sounds like, that they're going to let people debate it right now. I think they're aware of what things like what Patrick is talking about, that we've moved the Overton window quite a bit on this subject since 2020. And now I think this is going to be the knockout punch, that these next few months, whatever it is, they're going to come in with some indisputable facts and receipts and hopefully put an end to this thing, at least for the majority of people once and for all. So let's take a listen to RFK.
Complex disorder with multifactorial etiology. We are continuing to investigate a multiplicity of potential causes with no areas of taboo. One area that we are closely examining, as the president mentioned, is vaccines. Some 40 to 70% of mothers who have children with autism believe that their child was injured by a vaccine. President Trump believes that we should be listening to these mothers instead of gaslighting and marginalizing them like prior administrations. Some of our friends like to say that we should believe all women. Some of these same people have been silencing and demonizing these mothers for 3 decades because research on the potential link between autism and vaccines has been actively suppressed in the past. It will take time for an honest look at this topic by scientists. But I want to reassure the people in the autism community that we will be uncompromising and relentless in our search for answers. We will perform the studies that should have been performed 25 years ago. Whatever the answer is, we will tell you what we find. We are researching this issue to all 3 agencies. Jay will discuss one of our research initiatives at NIH. This model of unleashing unbiased, depoliticized, gold standard scientific research and academic freedom to deliver actionable information to prevent and reverse disease will be a model for the framework to deliver similar results are many other chronic conditions that plague Americans.
So I thought that was pretty powerful. He was talking about the gaslighting of the mothers, the demonizing of them for almost 3 decades. So I thought that was pretty powerful stuff. And keep in mind, this is all coming on the heels of, what was it, guys? Maybe 2-3 weeks ago, unless I'm losing track of time, where the state of Florida announced that they will be actively working to remove all childhood vaccine mandates in the state. So the wheels are turning.
The next step would be just to get people to stop taking them voluntarily.
Yeah.
There's also a weird correlation that needs to be addressed. Q talked about autists to save the planet, to save the world. We have used their weapons against them for a large period of time now. And for this to come full circle, where autism is being acknowledged, at the same time, autists have been given a high five in helping save the planet, I think is not something that can be pushed aside before we move on to the UN stuff. It's very intriguing to me, right? I don't know that I consider myself to be an autist, but I have something similar where it's obsessive compulsive, right? That's what goes with addiction. But like, I'll be honest with you, and I love it about people. I believe a Stormy Patriot Joe has a bit, just a touch of the autism. I believe that a Patrick Gunnels might. I believe that some of these people, like a Matrix Codebreaker, or I believe that people have these traits and they've been turned into strengths. And now we're using the causation of some of those things as a strength to help save the country, the planet, as we expose Big Pharma and the rest. I find it so interesting that it's just the same as, in my opinion, putting a Joe Biden as the face of the nation, the dead country, as we're now the hottest. It's very interesting to me that they've used their weapons against the deep state. The deep state's weapons have been weaponized against them. And now we expose them to a level that we make our country Maha, make America healthy again. The full circle aspect of that whole thing kind of blows my mind. Because if it wasn't for the autists that were on the boards, if it wasn't for the autists that helped us throughout this period, whether they stayed red pilled or black pilled, or it doesn't matter. The process went full circle, and now we're addressing autism. It's crazy. Am I right?
You know, the vaccines made us just autistic enough to win this war.
Yeah.
Because I got my share of vaccines. I'm a little twitchy.
Me too.
Yeah, but but all 3 of us are in the age group where we got like 10, and then in '89 they went from like 10 to like 30, and then from 30 to
it got worse. Yeah,
it got
the
way
millennials
worse.
got hit between the teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, can I just say, I miss Joe Biden.
I do too.
Right?
So much fun.
I was saying that the whole damn time. Y'all are gonna
miss
that goofy bastard.
I miss that guy.
That's so funny.
God.
That's so funny. I built my account on Joe Biden.
Right?
I was explaining this to somebody the other day. I'll be very quick. Who just recently figured out that Biden wasn't president the whole time. And they're like, wait a second. So you guys are actually kind of having fun with it. I'm like, oh yeah.
Of
like
course
it was
we
a
were.
whole different experience, like an entirely different experience. Like, and again, I'm not downplaying. Look, every person here took something on the chin financially, and I'm not like I mean the character himself. And when you got to sit there and watch and understand that they were doing things like making him fall up the stairs and fall on the stage and that stuff is what I'm talking about. I'm not discounting the actual kinetic stuff that happened. I mean, the stuff that they openly did when you had this lens and every day you go, what are they going to make him do today? That's the piece of it I'm talking about.
Dude, I miss just like fighting with people over his earlobe.
I didn't even.
That was fun. I'm just saying it was fun. All right, let me just say thank you to Drunk Pinata for raiding the show over on pill.net. Given the time that I will now have this week, I hope to get Dave over on pill.net. Foxhole is awesome, and I love you guys. I see all the gold pills you guys have thrown today. I promise you, I will get to thanking all of you here at the end of the show. I see everybody that's over there liking it on Dave's Rumble, and I'm watching my Rumble as well. I see all you guys. It's hard to do it and see everything and have the conversation all at once, but I appreciate every single one of you. The UN thing is important, bro. We should get into it. I have just a few clips because Donald Trump is meeting with the UN, the United Nations, today. And the clips I pulled, dude, I pulled like 20 of them. I narrowed it down to like 6 or 7 for the show because holy crap, every single thing he said was important. So let's just start with the intro and we'll go from there.
And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble. Hello, Madam First Lady. Thank you very much for being here. And Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, First Lady of the United States, distinguished delegates, ambassadors, and world leaders. 6 years have passed since I last stood in this grand hall and addressed a world that was prosperous and at peace in my first term. Since that day, the guns of war have shattered the peace I forged on 2 continents. An era of calm and stability gave way to one of the great crises of our time. And here in the United States, 4 years of weakness, lawlessness, and radicalism under the last administration delivered our nation into a repeated set of disasters. 1 year ago, our country was in deep trouble, but today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, and there is no other country even close. America is blessed with the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth. This is indeed the golden age of America.
He doesn't give a F. Literally calls out. He's not in charge of the teleprompters. He's not in charge of any of this stuff. He's visiting the UN. And he's visiting the UN, as you'll see further along in these clips, as the boss. And so when he calls him out that way on the intro, that is a literally a scar on their face as he walks into this speech. That's how he introed the thing, Dave.
Yeah, and there's more going on behind the scenes. I don't want to run any of the clips. People probably saw them already. But it kind of got drowned in the noise of the news cycle the last 48 hours or so. But when the meeting started, because the meeting actually started yesterday, right? Yesterday, I mean, what day is today? Yes, yesterday. There was a number of clips coming out of some of the other leaders basically talking about how the UN is in peril right now. So I believe this is another example of us tearing their... Look, I believe the UN has been neutralized already, personally, like from a kinetic standpoint. That's just my opinion. And now we have to start working on the public relations side. Again, the people side of getting people to understand what the UN was really about in the post-World War II era. I don't know, Joe, did you happen to pull the clip of the escalator?
I have them all.
Well, because I found something else that I think connects to the teleprompter and the escalator. Well, I don't have, if you have the escalator clip, I would pull that up next.
I don't know which one of these has the escalator, but
okay,
they all...
all right. Oh, I can talk to it. if the reason I want, well, I can wait till you do it. There's a point, I believe there's a point to the teleprompter in the escalator, and Caroline just confirmed it on X. So we can wait till we get to that point.
Okay. Patrick,
Yeah.
you're probably watching this raw, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So what are your
except
thoughts?
for the teleprompter part? I thought that was fun. I caught that and then I got distracted.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the next one I have, and this is Donald Trump literally addressing the death penalty in front of the UN. Check this out.
Our message is very simple. If you come illegally into the United States, you're going to jail, or you're going back to where you came from, or perhaps even further than that. You know what that means. I want to thank the country of El Salvador for the successful and professional job they've done in receiving and jailing so many criminals that entered our country.
You know what that means, Dave?
Yep.
Patrick, did you pick up on that?
I think I might have, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally insinuating the death penalty in front of the UN. I felt like it was deeper than just saying, hey, you're either going to go to jail, you're going to go back to your country, you're going to get the death penalty. Because Trop 22 talks about, and he talks about 22 today, it talks about who controls the National Guard, what president used the National Guard to save the Republic, what conditions had to be met. I have found that to be Abraham Lincoln and infiltration. So if Donald Trump goes to the UN and talks about the death penalty, I take that just a little deeper than I think that it was taken by most people. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, it does.
Okay. Let's keep going.
I'm trying to pull one thing up. Give me one second. I just want to see if I can find it. Yeah. I don't think I want to remind everybody two things that Trump has talked about quite a bit while he was not president, but really president in like 22 and 23. Remember how much he kept talking about quick trials?
Yes.
Keep that in mind.
Quick what?
Quick trials.
Quick
He would
trials.
constantly tell the story about
And that
quick
other
trial.
thing.
He would talk
Yeah.
about China and they don't have a drug problem. And he would say why, and they would say quick trials. He told that over and over again. And if you were paying attention at the time, you reached the logical conclusion: quick trials means tribunals, right? Also, on the exact, we had this article, this little nugget that snuck by in 2020 in the wake of the stolen, maybe not stolen election. While we were all looking at that, once again, here comes Newsweek, quietly reminded us on the same day this Pearl Harbor, by the way, that Trump has made firing squad and poison gas executions possible. That was December 7th of 2020. Now, why would he have done that back then if he was on his way out of office? Just leave that there.
Yeah. It was also the same day that he signed Executive Order 13961, which completely revamped continuity of government in the U.S. government.
Same day. Wow.
Yeah. December 7th. Yeah. Funny the facts you randomly remember.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure they haven't used the firing squad on anybody in the last 5 years, though. That's just
definitely not John McCain.
Didn't Rumsfeld pass away? Colin Powell, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Joe Biden was shot. It's not him. I don't think it's him. He's doesn't even know he's alive.
Mm-hmm. He probably just did it for show. That's all. He was just trying to, flex his. He was trying to flex his muscles. That's what Donald Trump does. He likes to flex his muscles. So
enjoy the show. Yeah. Here we go.
All numbers I've ever had. Part of it is because of what we've done on the border. I guess the other part is what we've done on the economy. Joe Biden's policies empowered murderous gangs, human smugglers, child traffickers, drug cartels, and prisoners from all over the world. The previous administration also lost nearly 300,000 children. Think of that. They lost more than 300,000 children, little children, who were trafficked into the United States on the Biden watch, many of whom have been raped, exploited, and abused, and sold. Sold. Nobody talks about that. The fake news doesn't write about it. With many others, young children who are missing or dead. And we found a lot of these children, and we're sending them back, and we've been sending them back to their parents. They said, nobody knows who they are. They said, where do you come from? And they'll give us a country, and we'll find out, and we'll figure it out, and we'll bring them back to their homes. And the mother and father rush to the door, and their tears in their eyes. They can't believe that they're seeing their son or daughter, their little son or daughter again. We've done almost 30,000 of them so far. Any system that results in the mass trafficking of children is inherently evil. Yet that is exactly what the globalist migration agenda has done, and it's what it's all about. In America, those days, as you know, are over. The Trump administration is working, and we are continuing to work to track down the villains that are causing this problem, and also, as I said, to get back the 30,000 we've already returned. Now I think we're going to have another. We're going to find a lot. You're not going to find all of them. 300, more than 300,000. They're lost or they're dead. They're lost or they're dead because of the animals that did this. To protect our citizens, I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as and you see this, and you see it happening right before your eyes. Let's put it this way. People don't like taking big loads of drugs in boats anymore. There aren't too many boats that are traveling on the seas by Venezuela. They tend not to want to travel very quickly anymore.
Come on, that's funny. That's really funny. In Tennessee, not too many drug cartels. He just did that. That was live on TV. We blew up 2 boats. They're not going to take too many boats across our ocean anymore. But the human and child trafficking aspect is crazy that he's saying this not only publicly, but straight to the UN's face. Patrick, do you want to go first?
Yeah, because you look at the way he's looking at the crowd when he says the animals who are responsible for this. He's looking straight at these people. There's a lot of people in that room who are complicit and profiting. We live in a world run on NGOs, and those NGOs pay off all of the people of the world who are in these elite predatory classes, and they're all sitting right there. He's got them. They know he's got them.
Yeah, I agree. How do I say this delicately? I don't believe that there were 300,000 children trafficked during the Biden administration. I believe that happened before, and that is yet another unfortunate narrative that we had to bring forward in order to make people aware of it. And I think we're at a point now. I don't necessarily mean at this moment, but in these coming months, where you're going to start to see what Patrick just talked about, all the NGO funded, Gladio funded terrorists, let's call them. It's all conflating. It's all coming together. And very quickly, just so we don't forget about this, buried in the news cycle last night between the UN and this was the fact that I think it was about 8 o'clock last night or so. Trump actually formally signed the executive order to designate Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. And that is massive. We don't have time to go through it, but maybe on Saturday, if you go to the boards and you put in Antifa, I believe there's over 50 drops where it comes up, and it paints the picture that they had all the goods, they infiltrated Antifa, they knew everything, they got them. And it points to what Patrick's talking about, these NGO funded. So now think about that with the presentation we're getting, with all the protests, and now we're constantly having a conversation about how they're paid agitators. It's getting very, very near to the time where I believe we prove that to the public. Yeah. Not only that we don't hate each other as much as we think, because you've been watching manufactured protests most of your life, or at least over the last 10 years. And then who's the money behind it? And that to me is going to go a long way in reuniting the country. Because when you fundamentally understand that so many of these protests are not organic, then you realize it's that not all your neighbors are as crazy as they want you to think. That yeah, we're divided, but we're not nearly as divided as we think. But that's the optics they're able to create with these terror organizations that do all this stuff.
I'm just gonna say amen. I agree wholeheartedly with every single word you spoke. You want me to go to the next one here?
Yeah, dude.
So, Dave, is there a specific drop we've been hitting for like 2 months? I don't know if you remember B-2 bombers, or you remember the Big Beautiful Bill, or you remember Big Balls getting beat up, and then the National Guard going.
I think it's 800. No, it's 22. Of course, 22.
That's right.
Your wife can walk down the middle of the street with or without you. Nothing's going to happen. My people have done a fantastic job. And yes, I called in the National Guard, and the National Guard took care of business, and they weren't politically correct, but they took care of business. We got 1,700 career criminals out, brought them back to where they came from, the countries where they came from, or put them in jails. Washington, D.C. is now a totally safe city again, and I welcome you to come. In fact, we'll have dinner together at a local restaurant, and we'll be able to walk. We don't have to go by an armor-plated vehicle.
He's saying that to the UN, bro.
Of course, it's 1,700 criminals.
Well, and you know, I pulled 20 clips and I narrowed it down to 6 or 7. He talked about earlier in the speech the B-2 bombers, that we had been planning this for 22 years, which didn't make sense to me at all. And now he comes out and he says this, the National Guard went into D.C. We can have dinner together. Who controls the National Guard? Why was the National Guard recently activated into select cities within the U.S.? This is 22. Can the National Guard work in coordination with the Marines? Do conditions need to be satisfied to authorize? He's addressing the UN. What former president used the military to save the republic, and what occurred exactly? That would be infiltration. Biggest drop to ever be provided on poll. Study and prepare. The masses tend to panic in such situations. No war, no civil unrest, clean and swift. And he's slamming this in the UN's face in New York City.
Which I believe New York City is
on the list,
being set up for their own Joe Biden experience. Sorry, guys, if you live in New York, but Mayor Mamdani may have a interesting ring to it when things start getting hot.
That's
just my gut.
Freaking hilarious.
Oh, we're gonna be that. Oh, it's gonna be absolutely hilarious. It is from a narrative standpoint. It's going to be.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I have 4 more clips that apply to Drop 22 from today. I'm not going to play them all. We're already at 212. But he smashed Drop 22 like at least 4 or 5 times today. That was just the one I picked to put on the show. You go back and watch. If you go to my X account or my Telegram, you'll see all the clips. He smashed 22 repeatedly today.
Worth it.
Still worth it. Yeah. And I'll this is the last clip I have for today. And he did this also, making up numbers, but 25 times today, at least 17. And he destroyed the Green News scam repeatedly. Take a listen to this.
UN officials stated in 1989 that within a decade, entire nations could be wiped off the map by global warming. Not happening. You know, it used to be global cooling. If you look back years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said, global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. Then they said global warming will kill the world. But then it started getting cooler. So now they could just call it climate change, because that way they can't miss. It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. climate change. No matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things, you know. They actually said during the campaign they had a hat, the best-selling hat. Trump was right about everything.
Wow.
Come on.
So he's definitely getting way, way, way more ballsy with the UN year after year. So how many times has he gone to speak to these people?
He hasn't done it in 6 years. It's the first time in 6 years. It was his first term when he did it the last time.
Okay.
And
he did it a bunch of times leading up to it, because it seems like he's been there more than twice.
Well, he just went there for the first time in 6 years, and when he walked in, he did this.
He did what?
Middle fingers to everybody.
Okay, yeah.
Doesn't give a crap. Like, this is my second term, aka third term, where I'm going to tell you exactly how it's going to be. Not only that, I didn't pull the clips, but there's another one that's really important. He straight up told the UN that I stopped 7 wars, and I'm only short of stopping the Ukrainian war. And I did it without you. I did it without the UN. You guys didn't help. You did nothing. He straight up called them out to their faces. I'm doing this, and it would have been nice to have your help, except for that you didn't.
I just checked. He addressed them in 2017, 2018, 2019, nothing during COVID, and now. So this would be the 4th time.
And he called them straight out. I'm doing this. I'm the world leader. America's the greatest country on the planet. Yes, we were dead 4 years ago, but now we're the hottest country in the world. And I and we as America have stopped these wars, and you didn't do.
Why wouldn't he? I mean, at this stage of the game, do we really think like I said, I mean, do you really think the UN has any power left? No. I mean, they never really did, but I think at this point, the white helmets, as you might call them, that have done so much destruction and everywhere they go, they make things worse. Everywhere the UN peacekeeping envoy goes, things get way worse. I think those days are over. So he can stand there and say whatever the hell he wants to him at this point.
I wish we could have seen the crowd react in greater frequency.
So they did a bit, like every time it was a little bit awkward, Patrick, and I might show, we're running out of time today. So I might show some of those tomorrow. I'm going to put the ones that I didn't put on today on tomorrow's show, which we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. You and I could talk about for tomorrow. But he literally did that. They did that. So every time there was an awkward moment, whether it was, Iraq or Iran or Israel, they did pan the camera, and it was an experience.
Someone in the chat pointed out I may be thinking about Davos because it's the same stupid background.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I mixed up the UN and Davos. I kind of blend them together in my head. It's just Trump goes give speech to criminals. So
they should be blended in your head. It's the same thing, except for this one's in New York and not overseas. Yeah. Well, Dave, do you have anything else to show? Because if I keep going in today's speech, I'm going to have way too much and we're going to get way over. Do you have anything you want to show before we do final thoughts and get out of here?
Yeah, I think we should talk about what happened this morning with YouTube, because I no longer believe in coincidences. Let me just pull this up. Jim Jordan broke this story this morning.
Yeah.
Due to our oversight efforts, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off of YouTube due to political speech violations to return to the platform. And this is just a small portion of the thread. He said, YouTube also admits the Biden administration censorship pressure was, quote, unacceptable and wrong. confirms that the Biden administration wanted Americans censored for speech that did not violate YouTube's policies. Details when YouTube began rolling back its censorship policies on political speech after the judiciary began its investigation. States that public debate should never come at the expense of relying on, quote, authorities. Promises to never use third-party fact checkers. Warns that Europe's censorship laws against American companies target American companies and threaten American speech. And he said, now, to make amends to the American people because of our work, YouTube is rolling back its censorship policies on political and speech, including topics such as COVID and elections. And keep in mind that is coming on the heels of this taking place just 3 days ago. That somehow the United States, I believe all three of these, you put this, YouTube, Google together with the announcement that the United States has taken an ownership in TikTok somehow, controlling 6 out of 7 of the board seats and the algorithms, and then put together what's taken place with X. I don't believe any of these are organic transactions. I believe they're seizures of some sort or capitulations, however you want to look at it. And to me, we were talking about this backstage, Patrick, like it seems like they're getting ready to set up the ecosystem for a giant boomerang, where as they start releasing some of the things about COVID, already this summer, we've had rumblings about COVID truth. We've obviously had rumblings about Crossfire Hurricane truth, Epstein Island truth. Those depositions are taking place in Congress now. The election, all these things. I think they're setting up the ecosystem where, as they start to come out, there's to quote Q, there's nothing that could stop what's coming. They will not be able to stop the information flow when the boomerang comes back around.
You know, it's not so much the deplatforming as it is the unbelievably sophisticated suppression algorithms that YouTube uses. And if they don't deactivate the suppression algorithms, then they might as well be deplatforming people. And my YouTube channel is posted here, and I've got a whole 8 of you watching right now, even though I did share it on X.
Well, please, everybody. Hey, let's do this. Let's say F YouTube. Everybody go to Patrick. Patrick, what is your YouTube channel?
Patrick Gunnels.
So everybody go to YouTube to Patrick Gunnels and hit the thumbs up on his channel. This is why I'll tell you why I'm saying this. This is my YouTube channel. I'll tell you right now, it hasn't been given back to me. And here's what they say. Your channel won't be put back on YouTube. It still says the same thing it did yesterday as it does today. We've taken careful look at your channel again and confirmed that it violates our harassment and cyberbullying policy. Has anyone on this channel ever seen me harass or cyberbully anyone? Of course.
Well, yeah, you harass the deep state.
Okay.
This is what my channel says right now. YouTube community is safe and supported. Go F yourself. But I will tell you, the drops told us, do not leave the battlefield. And if YouTube allows us back, I will try again. If they give me my channel back, I will absolutely start streaming there, because it's not about YouTube, F them. It's about the audience and the people we reach. So go over to Patrick's channel and literally like it, follow it, boost it to the moon, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, see if you could find it. If you just type Patrick Gunnels into YouTube. Wow. Okay, never mind. It pulls me right up. Never mind.
Well, I also want to say something that this has just been my personal working theory for the last 4 years. I don't get mad at YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or any of them, because the same way we had to show people with Joe Biden, we had to show people with the media, we had to show people with the border, we had to show people what censorship looks like. So I believe the White Hats have had some control or influence over these platforms probably since Biden came in, maybe even before then. But if we had just turned everyone back on, then the other people, like I remember the first time I started watching YouTube videos and they would bleep words out, like trigger words like COVID and things like that. And I was like, what the hell? Well, we had to let the rest of the country experience that. Like, think about how many people discovered just in the last 6 months. Think about how many people discovered their kid or their husband or whatever got a vaccine injury or a COVID vaccine injury. And then they went on and they tried posting about it. Well, if we had taken all those censorship apparatus away, then they would have never experienced being censored, would they? So I believe this has all been by design. That's why I'm just like, yeah, whatever. When they want us back, we'll be back. But I think I still believe it's been by design.
Well, I think so too. And by the way, already I'm just blown away at how many of you are.
Yeah, my whole chat
went from 8 watching to like 160 watching now. So thank you all. I'm going to start streaming from YouTube. That sounds like fun.
My whole chat said they went and followed you. Like it's literally.
Thank you all very much.
And by the way, Joe, before you run, just one more. I see our friend MAGA Brittany in the chat just reminded me of this one. You had Chuck Grassley coming back in with Corn Watch on an exact 7-year delta of Trust Grassley.
You know, Chuck, you ain't getting any younger. You might want to harvest that there corn.
Well, I think it's coming.
Dave, Patrick, both of you, if either of you have anything left to share after we do this, I want to do thank yous as we're approaching 2.5 hours. It's kind of my cutoff. I feel like that's the magic number so that we can share these things out to our friends, get them to come back and watch the show, et cetera, et cetera. If you go over 2.5 hours, it really kind of ruins anybody ever coming back and watching. So I want to wrap this up. But if you guys have anything that you want to do after this, please, by all means. I want to say thank you to the people over on Pilled and then give it to you, Dave, for your Rumble. Trick Pony gifted a cookie. Q7, thank you very much. Don Ritchie 17 gifted a cookie. Thank you. I appreciate you. Carrie Lake came in with 117 gold pills. Thank you very much. Sean Joe with the cookie. You guys are awesome. Carrie Lake again with another 117 gold pills. Thank you. Harley Quinn 369 gifted a cookie. Thank you. And Trisha E over on pilled.net gifted a can. Thank you guys all very much for supporting the show. Dave, do you want to do your side?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thank you all for being here today. As always, I want to thank Doc Eads for popping in and gifting 5 subscriptions. Of course, our friend Micro Toolmaker popping in, gifting 10 and dropping a $55 rant. This is where we go one, we go all. Also, On and On Anon, love that name, with a $5 rant. Marked safe from being assassinated by Ryan Routh. By the way, he tried to stab himself in the neck apparently when he got sentenced. So, you know, the next thing that'll happen, he'll go to a jail and then he'll be suicided and the cameras won't work and we'll just run that playbook again probably. Our friend Postmiss, Dave, you're such a great friend. Got to slow my rants. Hubby asked why there are so many $5 charges to Apple Pay. So I'll cut back till next month. But you guys are so good that I just have to comment for both.
That's really funny.
That is really funny. We appreciate your support, but don't get yourself in any trouble with your husband. Not over us. C. Marie Wyrick with a $5 rant. George Floyd and Charlie Kirk share a birthday 20 years apart on October 14th. There are 1,934 days between their deaths. 1 + 9 + 3 + 4 = 17.
Bam.
That's interesting. There's also, I believe, there was another one somebody emailed me that. Anyway, there's another birthday coincidence like that. I'm not going to butcher it right now, but very interesting. Coville with a $1 rant. Butler, Epstein files, Charlie Kirk. It's the same theme. Things don't add up to the seagrass, purposely conditioning them to question everything. If they are lying about this, What else are they lying about? Exactly right. 117%. Stewie4554 with a $20 rant. Lurking with a bunch of Pepe emojis. And I love you all. Thank you very much for that. Cindy Waters with a $10 rant. After the guilty verdict, Ryan Routh apparently tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen. LOL. Yep. Follow the pen, maybe? I don't know. Geege. It's either Geege or GG or with a $10 rant. I'm a Christian, but the whole memorial was ick. Totally a psyop. Their words, not mine.
I agree with you, though.
Yep.
And I'll say that with my words.
Yep. Thank you for that. Goville again with $1 rant. Kind of reminds me of a James O'Keefe Project Veritas wave style of info release that kills the narrative explanation of events. Yep. I believe that was one of those earlier videos we were playing. I mentioned Micro Toolmaker, as always, with a $55 rant. Where we go one, we go all. I hope you are feeling better, my friends. Goville again with a $1 rant. Dom calls himself what? Breaker of narratives. Yep, that's exactly right. Narrative warfare. And Goville again with a $1 rant. Bang on, Patrick. Trump pointed to vaccines without pointing to vaccines. Yes, sir. Medadio with a $5 rant. Patrick, does it help with neuropathy in the feet? I believe you were talking about your
no. Long story. Email me at pgunnels@gmail.com.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
pgunnels@gmail.com. Goville, again with a $1 rant. During the Charlie Kirk Memorial, Trump not only mentioned they know the cause of autism, but also mentioned that they have a way to heal those with it. Haven't heard that yet. And should that be the next bomb to drop? They did release one. You know what, Joe, I know we're long, but this is kind of important.
Yeah,
do you mind if I play this?
No, that's why I try to get everybody to hang out through the thank yous, because we do stuff like this through the thank yous. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
no, they did make mention of one that they are releasing immediately.
So here to announce good news. Today, the FDA is filing a Federal Register notice to change the label on an exciting treatment called prescription leucovorin so that it can be available to children with autism. You know, autism may also be due to a autoimmune reaction to a folate receptor on the brain, not allowing that important vitamin to get into the brain cells. It's a fairly established, mature pathway. Again, we have a duty to let doctors and the public know we are going to change the label to make it available. Hundreds of thousands of kids, in my opinion, will benefit. One study found that with kids with autism and chronic folate deficiency, 2/3 of kids with autism symptoms had improvement, and some marked improvement. Mr. President, you told us to do what's medically right, to go bold, and not worry about the corporations and the lobbyists. So that's what we're here doing today. Thank you, Mr. President.
And very quickly, before people get too bent out about the word prescription, leucovorin is simply a form of a folate, vitamin B9 analog. They use it right now as a way to help people undergoing chemotherapy. So I'm not an expert on it, but I did do a little bit of research. I don't see any major issues with it personally at the moment, but that is an immediate thing, and there's definitely going to be more to come. Let's see. Bone Doc 33 with a $17 rant. Joe, I'm an orthosurgeon and a naturopath. I love helping people avoid surgery. I also know the truth of hypertension. I now do stem cell injections, and I love to help you. How can we speak?
It's literally everything I'm dealing with. You can reach me, as I've been trying to make it my first thing in the morning, as I stink at emails. I'm getting overwhelmed. Guys, it's not an arrogant thing at all. What I'm telling you is the truth. I'm getting thousands of emails a day. It's very hard. I'm hoping to get somebody to assist me here shortly, but I am getting up every morning and making that my priority. So if you want to email me and talk to me, it is ramboandfriends.17@gmail.com. I'm making it the first thing I look at. So I am very interested in hearing about that, as it is something I'm going through right now. So ramboandfriends.17@gmail.com.
There you go. Coville with a $1 rent. My favorite Bidens were the tiny desk Biden and the 7-foot tall Biden. I like the ball chin Biden myself. That was a good one.
He's my favorite one.
Janice Penman, good to see you with a $20 rant. Hey, my best friends, you are my people. When do we get to hear from Assange? It feels like everything else, it's taking forever. Wish I knew. Wish I knew. Simon says, FL with a $5 rant. Worth remembering. Note they all read from a teleprompter. Who controls the message? Q. And Janice Penman again with a $10 rant, doing her best Biden impersonation. Yeah, Dave, you know the thing. Classic Biden. And Pamela Holleran, another regular with a $5 rant and a thumbs up. I believe that is everything over here. Thank you guys again so much for being here today.
My man. I appreciate that, bro. Hey, Patrick. First and foremost, before I do my side, let me just say thank you to Trisha. Came in late with the can over on pill.net. Thank you very much for that. Patrick, can you not only get David Becker up, but tell everybody what you do one more time before I run through?
I'll get David Becker up. Let's see here. You have the video? I'm ready.
It's up.
Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Fall marks open enrollment and the time when insurance companies announce next year's rate increases. Some carriers are expecting premium hikes of 20 to 30%. For many, the high cost of medical insurance is about to get even worse. At Mid-Atlantic Business Alliance, David Becker and his son Jesse have been helping their clients keep their cost affordable while providing the best possible PPO coverage. The hospital and insurance systems are corrupt, and it is critical to have a trusted ally like Mid-Atlantic Business Alliance on your side. David and Jesse will help you navigate the system to keep your premiums affordable and your out-of-pocket costs to a minimum. Why not call today for a free quote? Call David Becker at 609-577-8557 or visit their website at midatlanticba.com/Rambo.
Boom. I mean, how more lucky could I get to have something that sponsors the show that does your health, to have somebody that sponsors the show that will do things like what Patrick Gunnels is doing, and then also have somebody that will literally have your back with health insurance like David Becker. I am stoked to have those three sponsors, guys. Support them. It supports the show. Thank you.
And a little quick reminder, of course, tulipblooms.shop. Most popular product we have, Castor Blend. It's buy one, get one half off through Friday. Take advantage while you can. Tulipblooms.shop, promo code Rambo.
Boom. And one more time, I'll ask you, if you're still watching the show and you haven't done so yet, whether it's on Dave's Rumble, whether it's on my Rumble, whether it's on pill.net, whether it's on X of any of our channels, hit the thumbs up. It is what puts this show where it gets every single time. You guys have been killing it. So thank you. Simone says from FL, I'm guessing that's Florida. Thank you for welcoming me. New York City mayoral election, November 4th. The time is now. See drop 2403. Dave, do you want to pull that drop up? I don't know what that means yet, and I'm going to keep scrolling here so I can get everybody else. But if we can read 2403, that would be cool.
I can pull it up if you want.
PJW. Good. Do you have it?
Yep.
Go ahead, throw it up.
It's a long one.
I got it.
Oh. Be the difference, vote. Go ahead, Patrick.
Certainly. Q drop number 2403 of November 4th, 2018. Your country needs you. Your vote matters. We the people. Time is now. Patriots fight. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything to stand, stand firm then with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the saints. From the letter of St. Paul to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verses 10 through 18. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to effect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly, all experience hath shewn that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Declaration of Independence. We will do our job to protect the vote. Will you do yours? Will you answer the call? Where we go one, we go all. Q.
You know, that sounds just like it was some stupid fat guy in a basement. Come on. Like, you can't read a drop singularly as that one and think that was just some retard LARPing in his basement. It's impossible to me.
I mean,
thank you for that.
Long beyond that point.
Well beyond. I know. PJW with $20 rant for Joe so he can buy glue-on hairpiece for his chin. Maybe try a goatee because you are a goat. So is Dave. So is here a goat for him too. PJW, I love you, but go F yourself. I'm just kidding, friend. Simone says, Florida, question everything posted online and in the media. Boone Cutler, it's not difficult to follow. You cannot tell people the truth. You must follow them. Q. Boom. That's actually off of Boone Cutler's X account. Pamela offering with a thumbs up, $10 Rumble rant. Thank you very much. Gampers, $20 rant. Tagged you on X. Fox News videos. JD Vance in kill brackets said he spoke with Charlie and his family 20 hours after TPUSA produced, said Charlie would do it if asked. And there's a link. I'll have to grab that link and look here after the show, friend. Thank you. Mr. Grass 41. Love you guys, not in a gay way. Thank you. Love you back and not a gay way. I appreciate that. Shung Agite for 62 with a $17 Rumble rant. Hep B was heavily pushed on dentists and their assistants in the early 80s. I got the jab with my employer. They said saliva, I'm an idiot, could spread it if I couldn't turn back time. Saliva. I figured it out. Whatever. MJ's life is good. $17 rant. Okay, you do know I am colorblind, right? When they donate $5, I can't see it.
I've seen your wardrobe. I can tell. I've seen your wardrobe.
My wardrobe, it's always a ghost. Every shirt, I have every color. Patrick, do you know I have every color of the rainbow in the Ghost Army t-shirt? Have you noticed that yet?
There it is again. See, every color of the rainbow.
Hey. MJ Life's good, $17 rant. Okay, I just posted the link in the comment section. If anyone wants to take a look at MJLIFE is good. MJ Life is good. Thank you very much. Micro Toolmaker, of course, with the $50 Rumble rant. Where we go on, we go all. Coville, $1 rent, stirring the pot. Indeed, Dave, life keeping election fraud in the news as all these years, sprinkling new stuff into the events, and after the facts, keeping the story alive. The normies are talking about it, and they are. Amen. Thank you to both you and Micro Toolmaker. The Mr. Leota, who I absolutely adore, by the way. Dude, that video you made of Kim, dude, next level. Thank you very much. Thank you for all your hours you put in daily to help us make sense of the madness. Love y'all. Thank you very much, Mr. Leota. Post Miz, $2 rent. I love your song. However, I've got it stuck in my head. I was gardening with my ducks and I sing to them. I used to sing nursery songs and say their names. Today I realized I was singing Rambo and ducks. Well, that's your fault, Mr. Leota. Good job, bro. Hill Dave, $5 rent. Joe, since you're transitioning, I hate you guys. Donate it to the science and maybe it will solve the trans problem. Okay, thank you. Coville, $1 rent. Rambo, good to see you. Look into taking nitric oxide supplement. It opens the vascular so blood flows more freely with less pressure. Love you guys.
Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
I gotta stop giving my friends control of my accounts. Cindy Walters, $10 rent. Ryan Routh just found guilty on all charges. Let's see where this leads. Amen, my friend. And last but not least, Q Patriot Angel, $5 rent. No beard? Yeah, no beard. I was supposed to get surgery today and I didn't. Q Fan Addict came in late with Are You Serious? Charlie's staff said due to urgency, they decided to not, in a capitalization, wait for AMB and were diving into their SUV. Chauvin, COVID, and NBC. Charlie was so tall, they couldn't shut the hatch. Everyone's sliding. Q Fan, I love you. You got to speak in like full words. Did anybody understand that?
Yeah, they said they didn't want to wait for the narrative they're putting out is they didn't want to wait for an ambulance, so they shoved them in an SUV. Except the problem is that anyone that's ever been to any kind of event where there's more than like 100 people, there is a medic on staff with an ambulance always.
Amen. Yes, we've talked about that. I agree wholeheartedly.
And there's one more rant that came in over here. 257 says Joe's new nickname is the Rainbow Bachelor. I'm assuming it said his new name. I'm assuming they're talking about you since we're talking about the colors. I don't know who else we'd be talking about.
No. I do want to say one more thing before I get out of here because I don't typically say their names, but I want to say a legitimate thank you to Lucaya 14, AC 9771, Penny Lane 51, KDD 912, PFC Peanut, who I adore, and BJJ Koala Warrior 1177, which is Abs's wife. Those are my moderators, and I have their backs. I said at the end of the last show that I did just that, like, not to get rid of people if they disagree, but only get rid of them if they're hateful, mean, call names. But I don't disagree. I don't want people getting kicked because they disagree. As long as they're involved in the conversation, they're part of our family. And so that was never meant to be anything disrespectful to my mods. My mods are awesome and I love them. I just saw people getting very amped. And so the mods did probably what they thought was the very right thing to do. And I don't disagree with that. And I wanted to give my mods the hat tip they deserve. So thank you guys for being you. And so we can talk about that on a further date or whatever. But I just wanted to say that I love you guys for moderating the chat. And with what I said was not ever meant to be disrespectful. Dave, do you have anything else for today?
Nope. I would just add a thank you to all of my mods, Carrie, Kat, Claudia, and Doug, for all their help. And one shameless self-promotion tomorrow night at 8 p.m. is Mike King in his normal spot, but will be the premiere of what will be, I believe, a once-a-month thing. We are going to be doing Mike King open lines tomorrow night. So Mike is very excited to sit and take all of your history-related questions. We'll be doing it in a call-in format tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, right over here, and should be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people have a lot of different questions on historical theories for Mike, so that will be the time to do it, 8 p.m. tomorrow night.
Oh, man. Patrick, any final thoughts, brother?
Check out my YouTube channel, Patrick Gunnels.
That's all you gotta say.
Brevity is the soul of wit, therefore I shall be brief.
I was trying to throw the Kim song up today, but I don't have it. All right, it is what it is. Listen, this is a great show. I actually think it went more. It went better than I thought it was going to, specifically because I wasn't going to be here today. So I'm grateful to have both you guys here. Look forward to it, whether it's Patrick running it or it's the Skiff tomorrow. Either way, tomorrow, 2:30 p.m., there will be a show on this channel. I'll let you guys know further. But with that, I want to thank both of my guests and all of you guys for being here. Everybody over on Dave's channel, there was well over almost 15 grand here. Do me a favor and hit the positive affirmation button on your way out the door. And with that, we will see you guys next time. Much love.
Rambo's coming alive, a blazing storm that never died. He rose from the darkness, escaped from the pain, unchained from the madness, no ties to remain. From a cell to the spotlight, defiant and free, a voice for the voiceless, resounding their play. Fire in his veins, his calling clear, his band of brothers tip up the span. Rambo and friends, we rise, we stand, breaking the chains with truth in our hands. For the children, for the weak, we scream the words they're scared to speak. Addiction tried to chain him, but he broke them all. Now he's fighting for freedom and justice for all. With honor and glory, the truth will prevail. A soldier for the light, tearing through the veil. Fire in his veins, his calling clear, his band of brothers tip up the span. Rambo and friends, we rise, we stand, breaking the chains with truth in our hands. For the children, for the weak, we scream the words they're scared to speak. Rambo Joe, Rambo Joe, faith and fury collide. Rambo Joe, Rambo Joe, no evil can hide. Rambo, for the children, for the truth, we're not backing down. Rambo and friends, we rise, we stand, breaking the chains with truth in our hands. For the children, for the weak, we scream the words they're scared to speak. Thank you.